Tauschinator, Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tausch. Tausch, good morning. I love that question. Great question.
What's
Great
the answer?
question.
What's the answer?
Well, of course it's both. Jeez.
Yeah.
Come on. You saw that coming a mile away.
Well, no, and I know Greg will answer it similarly, but it's just continues to underscore how tough that job has become and why so many great coaches have left this arena because they just want to coach ball. They don't want to get into all that other stuff. I'll be curious what the Gardinator and how difficult it's been. How is that kid that you were trying to shove on him to take as a walk-on? How did that kid end up turning out? Where'd they play? What happened? That was a while ago.
I was not trying to shove him onto him play him.
Well,
I was trying to shove him onto him.
Hey, I got some video. Hey, I got a DVD. I got this.
How great would it be if it's Janicki?
Yeah. Kinzinger. What if it's that Kinzinger?
It is not either one of those. I was
or
trying.
Rowan Domovsky.
Kinzinger's brother tore up my
At
braids
that point, it would have been
night.
like sixth grade hoops, probably.
No, it was to be a practice player, to be, to be one of those guys that just is on the scout team all the time. It wasn't an expectation. And he's turned out great, by the way. He's a remarkable guy. Shout out to Isaac Hoffman. Never played for the Badgers.
How's Isaac Hoffman as a basketball? I'm sure he's a great kid. How is he as a hoopster?
He still plays a lot of City League basketball, from what I understand. Pretty good player.
Do you play against him?
Have I played against him? Not since he was a little Schaefer, and he couldn't guard me because, I was dominating. So he was about 4th, 5th grade at the time, I think, the last time we matched up. So we need to get ready for Greg Gard. We're excited to have him. Thank you to Tausch for booking him. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Tausch.
You've got a very vibrant shirt on today.
You're
are
welcome.
You in a good mood?
No, you guys are both welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for
welcoming.
That. You're welcome.
We appreciate you. Are you in a chipper mood? There's been some concern amongst the dwellers and elsewhere that you've been a little grumptastic with us. Is it us or is it you?
Probably more me. If that's how the dwellers feel, I'm not going to tell them how to feel. So if that's how they feel, I'm not going to blame you guys. I would put it back on me because I'm not going to be that kind of teammate.
I don't know what to do with that. That was not the answer I was expecting.
What did you want me to say? That I'll blame you guys? I'm not going to blame you. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
I tell kids all the time, don't let others affect your attitude. It's easier said than done. Fair. You control your attitude. Mm-hmm. And so if that's how the dwellers, the vibe they're getting, I can't blame you. I got to blame old T. And I'll try to be better. Maybe I have been a little grumpy lately. And maybe I'm sick of the cold. And maybe I need a vacation. All those things can be true.
Okay.
And I'll just be better.
Well, thank you again for your service.
You're welcome.
Now what?
Good deal, yeah.
I had a whole plan.
Diffuse you boys with kindness. The other stuff doesn't seem to be working, so I'll just keep undetonating stuff.
Hey, Tausch, I think you look nice today. I like your shirt. Nice Badger appropriate hat for Gard's appearance coming up.
Thinking about getting out. Gardo does a big pheasant hunt. I'm doing it in honor of the pheasant hunt that Gardo puts on for guarding against cancer. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Hey, what would you guys do? Have you seen this? And I talked about this with Vinny and Eric this morning. There's a water main that broke.
I saw this.
And I saw it in Detroit. I didn't know it happened in Milwaukee, too. What do you do if your car is frozen into the ground and it's not going to be warm enough to unthaw until maybe middle of next week? What do you do?
Hair dryer.
I don't think that's going to take you forever, innit?
Yeah, I saw this. I thought it was one of those things that you see on social media, and it's
looked like the apocalypse.
It's a spoof, and it's not really true. And then I read that it was in fact true. And by the way, let me just take a brief moment. We're back up on Twitter. What's going on here? Who gets... Was this Tausch? Did Tausch do this too? Thank him for his service.
I'm not sure. I'm sure I tried.
This is amazing.
Back-to-back Thursdays, I've got a surprise for everybody, I guess. Last week was Warren Moon. Today, thanks to some deductive reasoning, we realized that here in Madison, we were unable to stream to our Twitter account, but in Milwaukee, they're able to do it just fine. So through the magic of technology, we've got things sorted out where we are now back up on Twitter thanks to Josh DiMaggio and the great team at ESPN Milwaukee.
Atta baby, Joshy.
Thank you for your service, Joshy. We are up and running. All right. I saw these photos, too. I don't even know where you begin other than hoping that a warm front moves through and starts to melt all that ice.
If that's your only car, A, are you getting parking tickets? Because you can't move your car.
I don't think so.
What do you mean, no? You don't know?
How's the parking attendant going? Is he going to ice skate from car to car to tag them?
You can walk on ice, Jason. I don't know if you've.
But the ice is like up at the level, and it's slippery. I watched Matt Hamilton on that 4-camera angle on Peacock, and he's scooching across. If you're putting out tickets and you're not a trained curler, that could be tough.
There's a couple of questions. I don't think you should get a ticket because the city, the water main break is probably city related, right? They have to. Somebody's got to be in control here. So I don't think they should get tickets. But you ain't moving that car. So the first thing that I thought of is why not get some hot water and just go and unthaw it. But that's not going to work. It's too cold, right? The hot water will turn cold, and it's only going to add more density to the initial problem.
It's like that bottle of water at the Tundra Trio where somebody opened it during our pregame show when it was so cold, and it like froze inside the bottle as soon as it hit the cold air.
That was really cool to see. A viral moment, some would say.
Some might say.
Then Vinny thought of the jackhammer, and I think the jackhammer is actually a pretty good solution, but I don't see people in the sculpting world using jackhammers. I believe the correct answer here is chainsaws. I believe you have to chainsaw because there's plenty of people that are talented that can chainsaw. They can mold stuff into anything with ice. All you have to do is get the 4 tires out, right? So you have to chainsaw very wisely around. And then will you end up with like the Flintstones where it'll be an ice block of a tire? And then you're driving out? There's so many questions, and I don't know if there's any good answers other than waiting it out. But then you're going to end up Ubering everywhere, or you're going to just stay home the entire time. I don't know. There's a lot of problems with this whole deal.
Yeah, I think you're missing one, too.
What?
Are those cars going to be functional once they thaw?
Well, why wouldn't they be?
Well,
it's not like they're frozen over the top, are they?
They're like up to the windows.
Is the hood of the car froze?
I think they are, if I remember the photo correctly.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just the tires.
No, it looked like it would have gotten into the engine. And, you being a 3-on-the-tree expert and another driving expert when it comes to vehicles, I figured I would ask you, do you think that those will be functional vehicles? And then do they have redress with the city government for the damage to their vehicle? Do they need to call David Gruber and have him sue on their behalf? Like, what if your car no longer works after this?
I don't know. I would assume it's not your fault. It's not. It's got to be. Again, I don't want to get into the I'm going to blame people business because I'm not blaming you guys. I'm taking it on myself. I don't know what the answer is. I don't. So I can't help. I'd love to be able to help you. I think realistically right now, it's not about the blame game. It's about how do we get this rig up out the street? That's what this game's about. And somebody put up a hair dryer. Come on, a propane tank. You really want a propane tank running around like one of those? What are those old things where they got you just shoot fire out of it?
Flamethrower?
Musk made one of them. A flamethrower. You get a flamethrower out? Don't you think you're going to end up blowing your car up with that?
Well, what if you did it straight down the middle of the street and started the melting process there, and then it kind of melted, you kind of had the melt come into the middle of the road.
I'm not an iceologist.
Do you have any
works.
flamethrower experience? Your
Yes,
life, you've done a lot of things. This is why I was not asking kiddingly. Given all the things you've done, what's your flamethrower usage experience?
Most of it is around starting an outdoor campfire. And it's fun. I love it. It's, whether it was over at a buddy's place when the kids are out skating and you fire that bad boy up and you try to get it moving. There's something, and maybe I'm just a different kind of cat, but I don't know if you ever feel more of a man than when you're out and you got to get kindling and fire and you torch something. Like, I just think, and you get a big old fire started, you walk out of there feeling manly. That's for me.
So here's what we're going to do, because I do not want to be late for Gard because we're discussing how Detroit residents are going to get their vehicles out of their frozen street.
Well, did it happen in Milwaukee, though, too? Am I crazy, or is that just
I don't know.
Did that not happen here, too?
But here's what we're going to do. We've got an expert on the line. We're going to, speaking of experts, we're going to hear you tell us about Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Okay. We're going to come back. We're going to get Jim on the south side. He's a City of Milwaukee water main expert.
Is that right?
Oh, snap.
Jim has been loyal to this show from the very beginning, and little did we know, hiding in plain sight, we had a water main expert at our beck and call.
What are the odds of that?
They're not very large,
fantastic.
I gotta say. So, much like the odds of you getting a great deal, which are huge, especially with that 72-month no-interest financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
You can accomplish quite a bit in 6 years. You can get your car off the streets with a water main breaking, and it feels like it could be 6 years. You can go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. That's an emotional deal. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. You can become a senator. The world is your oyster. 6 years. But it can also take you up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors at zero interest. I looked at this. Gina doesn't send out the bat signal that often. When she does, take heed. 0%, 72 months, 6 years, no interest. With your new Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. A 10-year labor warranty, that's always included. So your windows and doors are secure for years to come. Certain restrictions do apply. I'm guessing water main breaks might be one of those restrictions. I don't know for sure. I'll have to check. That offer ends March 8th. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
We will get to the official Wilde and Tausch water main expert, which is a tease I never thought I'd deliver. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Baseball season. So close you could almost smell it.
Off the top of the wall and out of here! Garrett Mitchell, a go-ahead two-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning.
The Brewers are back on the field for spring training. Catch Cactus League action right here on 94.5 ESPN Sunday, February 23rd.
Introducing the newest carbless flavor, Mango Vodka. Flavored with the essence of the ripest, freshest mangoes, Carbless Mango Vodka will transport your taste buds to a sunny beach getaway. New flavor, still the same carbless crafted cocktails with 0 carbs, 0 sugars, and only 100 calories. Enjoy a refreshing vodka cocktail without the guilt. 4 packs of the new Carbless Mango Vodka cocktail are available in stores near you. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and escape with every sip.
Now, we all experience daily struggles, and with so many concerns to be conscious of, breathing should not be one of them. Mark Tauscher here for Advent, and if you're like me and have had snoring issues, sinus problems, or difficulty breathing, then you'll want to meet the team at Advent. The team of Advent specialists have a few simple steps to help evaluate your individual limitations and get you back to breathing well. Since Advent addressed my snoring and nasal breathing issues, I feel great. I've never slept better. My wife Sarah is is incredibly appreciative. The team of Advent specialists listened to my struggles, found the best solution for me, and customized it to my needs. Take my word for it and go to adventknows.com to learn more about simple solutions to snoring, sleep apnea, and nasal breathing problems. And schedule your appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order in store, online, or on their app for a limited time. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We are local and know how to deal with the IRS and state to solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on Nick to get $194,358 of taxes and penalties removed. This is why John Neal started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of all the taxes they can charge you or the more than 150 penalties they can impose on you. Make the right choice and call us at 844-222-1192. We want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security garnished, or a lien put on your house. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Call us at 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting. We understand how stressful this can be. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. That's 844-222-1192 or rightchoicetax.us.
Wisconsin is still cattle country, and that's why Bunzel's chose to stay close to home to hand select the finest beef. Quality goes into everything they do, from Bunzel's expansive array of meats, homemade specialty sausages, and their award-winning beef jerky. It just isn't a proper holiday meal without Bunzel's top quality cuts on the dinner table. Tasting is believing. Visit Bunzel's at 90th and Burleigh or bunzels.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
All right, let's do it. I never thought I'd see this happen. But we have our very own water main experts. And if this turns out to be a trick and it's Scuba Chad, I'm going to be really ticked. But I don't think it is. Let's go to Jim on the south side of Milwaukee. Jim, all this time you never told us you were a water main expert.
Well, I don't think it's ever come up in a topic like when talking about the Packers. But in any event, I worked for the City of Milwaukee Water Department for almost 20 years, and most of it in the water department, and working in the field on water main breaks. So do you want me to talk or do you want to ask questions?
Well, you know the situation in Detroit. So let's start with help us understand what happened there and how they're in the pickle that they're currently in on that street.
Well, in Detroit, I think it was a big main, and those break very, very seldom. And when they break, there is lots of water everywhere. I mean, you can flood out blocks and blocks and blocks, and the sewer system is not big enough to take the water, so it starts freezing. In Milwaukee, on a typical water main break, and I'm guessing that's what the one is on the east side that has happened, if you can get the water to run, no matter how cold it is, if it's running to catch basins and going off the road, it won't freeze. So what has happened there is for some reason, the catch basins clogged, overloaded, whatever. It just could not keep up with the water, and so the water builds up. And then it'll freeze. And you asked me earlier about like the middle of the road. The middle of the road tends not to freeze because it's crowned and the water runs towards the gutters like it'll get away in the rain. So it doesn't doesn't freeze in the middle.
God, I hate it when my catch basin is clogged. So now that they are, we'll get back to your area of expertise, but I like to play this game, right? Whether it's Brian Gutekunst calling Brian Bulagakunst for advice or Aaron Rodgers calling me. So the good people of the Detroit Public Works Department, you know, they got somebody out, big Packers fan in Lions country, listening to the show, and they're thinking, you know what, we should call this Jim on the South Side guy. He could help us out. What's your advice to get the frozen streets unfrozen if you don't have anywhere to go with the water, even if you do thaw it? What are they going to do?
I think what the city will be doing now is attempting to get salt down as much as they can and as close as they can to those cars without trying to do more damage. Typically, it's wait till spring or get it. It's going to be 40 in the next few days here in Milwaukee. I don't know what the forecasts are for in Detroit, and they may have more water there than this problem. On the news in Milwaukee today, everybody's down on this in this neighborhood looking at the cars that are up to their wheel hubs, and the bottom of the cars are frozen in Milwaukee. So, I mean, an enterprising guy, maybe a jackhammer could do it, but you sure don't want to break anything that's going to damage the car. But you got to really clear all the ice around it to be able to move it. And whether that requires warm temperatures or lots of physical labor, that's about the only thing you can do.
What about Tausch's idea of a chainsaw?
Yeah, like those sculptors.
Well, I guess anything you would do close to a car could cause damage. But as you've got people cut through ice with chainsaws or with the typical kind of saws or an auger or a jackhammer. I don't know about a flamethrower, but when you get close to cars, you can be doing damage to the cars themselves. That's why the city won't do it. It'll be up to the owner to have to do it himself.
All right, a little disappointed that you poo-pooed our flamethrower idea because that was the one that I found the most interesting.
I'm sorry. And as far as suing the city, because that came up, anybody can always try, but unless you could prove that they were somehow negligent, didn't respond quick, just ignored the problem, you won't have a case against the city.
Well, the forecast for Detroit calls for a high of 29 tomorrow, 28 on Saturday, 34 Sunday, 39 Monday, and then into the 40s on Tuesday and Wednesday. So
it'll be good by next week.
They'll be able to drive, no problem. Jim, before we let you go, I know your training is in water mains, but do you know much about cars? Will these cars, once the water subsides, be able to actually function, do you think?
If the water got up to the level of the engine or into the car itself, it may be a big problem. From what I've seen here in Milwaukee, I don't think that's the case. Most of it is like to the bottom of the car to about the hubs and the wheels. But Detroit, that looked worse.
Yeah. Jim, the fact that your expertise has been hiding in plain sight all these years and now has come to the surface, much like all the ice on that street in Detroit. We appreciate you, buddy.
This moves him into Hall of Fame category, doesn't it, Jason?
I think this is a little, in fairness.
He's an A1 from the beginning. He's been with us since day one.
It pains me to say this because I don't think he'll ever quit on us the way this guy quit on the 49ers. But he's been a solid contributor throughout his career with Wilde and Tausch. And now he's had that one first-team All-Pro moment.
That's a big elevator.
Now it's up to him to make sure he's not Devondre Campbell.
Builds on it, or if he gets fat and happy.
Devondre Campbell.
I actually agree with your assessment.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Thanks, Jim. We appreciate you.
Hey, guys, I just want to be the guy that goes out and hands out the yellow jacket when you select the people.
That could
unselfish
be done,
too.
Yeah.
We can get you an usher gig. Sure, we know an usher who used to work at Miller Park, so we'll check with him too. Thanks, Jim. We appreciate you.
Bye, guys. Take care. Be good. Love you.
We got great guests today. We go from a water main expert to a basketball expert. Gard, the men's basketball coach at the University of Wisconsin, scheduled to appear next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting another Scramble tournament with $1,000 in cash prizes available. Hey, ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellerson, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a two-man scramble at TPC Scottsdale, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through February 28th. Your winter chance to play TPC Scottsdale awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Champs Americana in Brookfield, the Sandlots of Salem in Salem Lakes, Kelly's Bleachers Big Bend, Magoo's on the Mound in Milwaukee, and Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill in Pewaukee. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Are you dreaming about summer in your backyard yet? Picture it. Beautiful plants, freshly mowed lawn, crisply edged flower beds, and your grilling dinner out on an incredible back patio. Landworks Wisconsin is ready to plan your green space. Locally owned and operated, Landworks prides themselves on exceptional customer service and a personal approach to all your landscaping needs. Their team of experts will work closely with you, making your property shine all year. Experience the Landworks difference. Visit landworkswisconsin.com. That's landworkswisconsin.com.
Get ready, Oak Creek. Tsunami Express is making a splash with a brand new location at 6900 South 27th Street. Join the grand opening celebration February 12th through the 23rd. Enjoy free washes and snag an unbeatable deal. Just $5 for your first month of unlimited washes. Plus, 100% of the grand opening proceeds go to Special Spaces Wisconsin, creating dream bedrooms for kids battling cancer. Make a difference while getting your car sparkling clean at Tsunami Express in Oak Creek. See you there. Offer valid for new members only. Terms and conditions apply.
She's different and special and loaded with personality.
And there's one more thing, but you can't explain it in words.
She's the one.
She's the one.
The one.
You know it.
Your friends know it.
The whole world knows it.
We curated a special selection of engagement rings for her.
Can you guess what we call it?
We call it the One Collection by Kessler's.
Because these engagement rings are different.
And special.
And loaded with personality.
And one more thing. But you can't explain it in words.
Engagement rings in the One Collection start at just $725.
But some of them are more.
A lot more.
But we've got you covered.
First, we have 12 months financing at 0%. Or
second, we have 36 months financing at 9.99%, both with approved credit.
Third, we have second chance financing if you need someone to give you a second chance.
And don't forget the Kessler's warranty.
The strongest warranty of any jewelry store in the world.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
What's the credit union difference? Well, let me tell you what's different about Educators Credit Union. We're community advocates, fundraisers, small business champions, and all around passionate about you. Educators Credit Union, achieving more together. Insured by NCUA.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
It is time. He has been a friend to our show. This guy has been a friend to our show from the very beginning, and we are always pulling for him and his teams. We're not fair weather fans, even though we would appreciate it if fewer games were on Peacock. It is Badger men's basketball coach Greg Gard on Wilde and Tausch. Gardo, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're great. We appreciate you making time for us. We're excited to talk about where your team is at and Tanjay and everything we're seeing going on. But first, do you believe in jinxes?
Depends on what it is.
Mark Tauscher has predicted you're going to the Final Four. How do you feel about that?
I'll save comments for later. I like the way he's thinking.
Like, what, are you at all superstitious? Because then we tried to figure out superstition compared to jinx. I don't like when black cats walk in front of me. Is there anything superstitious about your preparation?
Not really. Not really. It's just more routine than it is superstitious.
I like it. Well, there's nothing routine about the realm of college basketball these days. I'm just going to ask this because we've spent so much time talking about the challenges of being in the Wild West and everything else. How the hell are you guys doing what you're doing? I saw a quote from you before the season talking about how no one was talking about you, but you really liked your group, about the egos and lack thereof, about how this team had connectivity. So I'm guessing that's part of it, but how the hell are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all those things. I mean, it's obviously we got really good players, and I think, outside perception or expectations were that we didn't have good players, and obviously that's been proven false. I think, this group has grown together, too, in terms of, making sure we're all on the same page. Obviously, they've fit together really, really well, and that was an important piece as we put this, team together, was that we had the right pieces in the right places and enough of each and not too much or not enough of different positions. So it's really, I think, Jason, byproduct, excuse me, a byproduct of a lot of things coming together, and I would say system, development, all those things play into it.
So, Greg, did anybody really believe that Tanjay was going to be this good? Because you're talking about potentially Big Ten Player of the Year, first-team All-American. When you brought him in, did you envision it going this well?
No. Anybody would be lying to you if they predicted this, just because there hadn't been, this much evidence, specifically when he was at Colorado State. I mean, Missouri only played in 8 games and was hurt, but you saw some of the potential and things he was doing there at Colorado State, and I thought, knowing that program and how well he was coached there by Niko Medved, that there'd be some things that could translate. Now, you never know until you get him in your own gym and start seeing what he can do. And quite frankly, he kind of started the summer a little slow. We were like, okay, it took a while for him to acclimate. And but for him, just how he is as a teammate, how he is to coach, you would expect somebody to come in. Mark, you played in the NFL. If you have a veteran free agent come in that's done a lot, sometimes they have all the answers and don't have a lot of questions. And John's been the exact opposite. He's been so easy to coach, so coachable, ask really good questions, wants to get better, and he's really fit extremely well with this group.
That's not a reference we get anymore because the Packers don't sign veterans anymore, so we have no idea what that means. But I think I understand what you're going for there, Gardo. Hey, I have so many questions because it's been so much fun to watch you guys. But I also know that there is, and Tausch and I were talking about this earlier in the week, and we had LePay on as well. There's the perception Wisconsin is a certain brand of basketball. Do you care about the misconceptions when you're putting up 90 points and people thinking, wait a minute, that score must not be right on the ticker at the bottom of the screen?
Well, the brand, regardless of style of play, has always been winning. So that's the brand of basketball that we play. We win a lot, and we have for a long time. So I think, whatever people say about style of play, that's their own personal opinion. This style of play wasn't evolved and developed and chosen by our staff because of what we worried about the outside, what the outside said. It was about how we saw the game evolving, how things were changing with the rules, with player development, with maximizing some of the skill sets of guys we had, how we could specifically recruit to the system. It was all those things that played into it, and because it's pretty adaptable. We can play. We play pretty fast in transition. We shoot a lot of threes. Analytics were a big part of it, of how we put this together, and looking kind of the science behind shot selection and those type of things. So it really was done for every other reason than we really cared what the outside world said. As long as it contributes to winning basketball, that's really the main goal here.
All right, so Gardo, I don't need to blow sunshine at your clipboard and tell you how great you are, but because you know what I think of you. But my theory on coaches, and I've obviously covered a lot of them, there's two overarching things that make a good coach. One, he treats everybody fairly but not the same because he knows what each player needs, and he's willing to adapt, and he's not just rooted in, this is my system, we do what we do. It's adapt or die. Can you give us behind-the-scenes look at what that process was like? Because when I watch you play, it is not, the swing offense or the blocker-mover offense of yesteryear. Help us understand how you got here and why it's working as well as it is with the guys that you have.
Yeah, I mean, really, Jason, it started probably 3+ years ago that I saw that we needed to continue to evolve and change some things, and we did a little bit of the continuity ball screen, starting at least 3 years ago. Johnny Davis was playing for us at the time, so, and we had done a little bit of it before that even, but we used it more as a supplement to some of the swing stuff we did, and we haven't done pure swing in 8 years. We've kind of taken pieces of it and evolved and went with some more sets, and then we evolved into using some of this continuity ball screen, and then, like I said, about a year and a half ago, it was the summer of 23. Kirk Penny came back from New Zealand and was in the Dells for a few weeks and popped by the office just to get out of the water park for a day. And we started talking different things, and I kind of described the vision I had and just couldn't figure out wasn't sure how to build the bridge to where I wanted to go. And just talking with Kirk and his experiences internationally specifically and who he had played for, and it started piecing together a little bit. So it was, a 10-minute conversation, and then he came back about a week later, and we met for over an hour. And then by the third time, he had come down from the Dells. He kept extending his stay, and he said, "Hey, could there be something where I could stay and help on the staff in some capacity?" So that's really the birthplace of it, of how Kirk got here. It was kind of by happen chance. It was just a conversation over a month, or multiple conversations over a month. And like I said, just me describing where I wanted this to go and him going, "Hey, I know exactly what you're talking about. Here's how we can get there." And so that's kind of in a nutshell how it all came about. And yes, evolving is important. I think we've tweaked and changed. This is probably the most notable change we made because it's so statistically and obviously visually, recognizable. But, we've tweaked and modified things and evolved as time has gone on. I think you have to, and always, you anchor to your core and your philosophies. But at the same time, you're always searching for a better way that fits your team, how the game has changed, like I mentioned earlier. And quite frankly, it came down to in college basketball right now, you got to score. Just with how the rules, the fouls, the powers that be want more scoring because it gets more eyeballs on the games, and so it was a combination of all those things coming together.
So, Garter, you're telling me that this resurgent in offense has to do with too much mini golf and wave pools?
Probably, yeah. He had too much water in his ears. He had to get out. And like I said, he needed and not that anybody needs a vacation from the Dells, but he needed an escape for a few hours just to. And he had been locked down in New Zealand when COVID hit.
Yeah.
New Zealand was one of the countries that put a lock and key on everybody, so he didn't leave the country for 3 years. So when he got a chance to get back to Wisconsin, it was load up the wife and kids and let's go.
Get it back to it. One of the things that I've noticed and I've seen, and this has got to be tricky on your end because, 5 or 6 years ago, you had 3, 4, 5 years to, in Brad Davison's case, 8 or 9 years to kind of understand who these players are and what motivates them. You got after Krall a couple months ago, and, man, he played dynamite Tuesday night. How do you do that with the Tanji and the guys that you learn about them, but how do you know how to push those buttons? You could probably do that with the guys that stick around 3 or 4 years, but now in an ever-changing world where you're getting them for 6 months, has that been a tricky part of coaching from your end?
Not really. Not really. I mean, the really good ones want to be coached. They want to be told the truth. They want to be held accountable. So, anybody that they tell us they want to be, great players, okay, here's how you do it. And I think they appreciate the honesty and you're honest with them, you're loyal to them, but at the same time you have high expectations and they know it's not an easy road. And I talk about that a lot, about how much adversity you're going to have to overcome. And these guys that have transferred, 10 years ago the word transfer was taboo, and now it's they didn't just fall out of the sky. They have experience from somewhere, right? So they've sometimes come in with their eyes even more open to the outside world, and maybe they weren't in a good situation in terms of the coaching they were getting or were not getting, or how players were treated. And they come in here and they see all of our resources and how we invest in them and how we try to coach them and help develop them. And I think that bond and that trust really accelerate pretty quickly. And so I think it's a two-way street. You got to trust them, they got to trust you. But like I said, I've always felt, everybody, the society keeps, or I see other coaches say, well, kids have changed, and really, no, they haven't. Society has changed. Their externals have changed. Social media has changed. The NIL and the portal has changed or become part of this world. But at the core of it, they're 18 to 22, 23 years old, and they have goals and dreams and aspirations, and your job as a coach, as a teacher, is to try to help them form a path and create a vision to where they want to go. And sometimes that's tough love. That in order to get messages across. So I think, like I said, the really good ones want to be coached and they want to be told the truth because they know that's the best way to get to where they want to go, and it sustains itself too, versus maybe creating false narratives about how good somebody is. I try not to overinflate anybody's confidence because it's a house of cards. They got to go earn it, and when they earn it, then it really establishes itself and it can sustain over the course of time.
Talking with Wisconsin men's basketball coach Greg Gard on Wilde and Tausch. All right, Gardo, Tausch has a question which may be the greatest question he's ever posed in the history of the show. So I'm going to set him up for that.
But I already know how he's going to answer it. So that's what I'm but continue.
I understand. But before that, I am, from a purely coaching perspective, we have talked so many times about this new world order in college sports. And to see your guys, to see how they rallied behind Kamari McGee with that ridiculous foul call, with the connectivity we see from them when we watch the games. I am curious, in this realm, how do you, and I know you got a bunch of guys that have been with you for a while, but not all of them have, how do you get that connectivity, that chemistry? Because we all know when teams don't have it, you can see it in their play, and you can see in this team's play, not only are they talented, but they are connected.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of answers or parts to an answer to that question, Jason. I think part of it is, you mentioned the guys that have been back. Retention is a big key. I think retention helps you sustain your culture even more. And so for us, Klesmit, Crowell, Gilmore, McGee, Ilver, Hodges, I'll even say Gard, because I got my own kid on the team, has been around it since the day he was born. It's just all those things are important. And then when you have people come in, whether they're freshmen or whether they're transfers, you got to make sure, and I know fit and culture and all those things, character, are maybe overused by coaches, but not really, because it's important. And as you mentioned, you see a lot of teams with a lot of talent and have a bigger payroll and can't get it done. You see it in all sports. It's not just a college basketball thing. The chemistry and the connectivity happen from having the right people in the room, in the right seats, and having like-minded people. I have a very egoless, unselfish group. They cares most about winning. And that's first and foremost. And I mentioned earlier about Tanjay and his mindset, terrific player that's blossomed in what we're doing, but he's really centered in team first. And, when you have really talented players and they're connected and they put winning above everything else, you can have a really special year, which we're in the midst of.
So, Gardo, the question I had is, when you just were talking about that connectivity, you're now a general manager. You're Goody. You are LaFleur. You're the whole thing, bringing the guys in, letting guys go. What's the more important piece? Is it going to be being the GM, where you're making the decisions on who you bring in? Or is it the coach and the development of who those players, or how you're going to get those players to maximize their potential?
It's both. I hate to give you that answer, but it is. I should talk to Mike Holmgren. Wasn't he the GM and the coach in Seattle?
He was. It didn't go as well as things are going right now, by the way.
No, they made a Super Bowl. What are you talking about? They're all right.
After he gave up the GM job.
No.
It's different, though. I mean, it is, and I have a chief of staff that really handles the lion's share of the GM, quote-unquote, responsibilities. But, no, it's really important that you have the right people sitting in that room. And I would say talent is extremely important, but the other pieces of it, if you aren't all clicking and connected, it's not going to matter, because we've already played a lot of teams that have a lot of talent, and the pieces don't fit, and when they don't fit and they don't connect, then you're not going to have the results you want. So I would say they're both important, even though probably the GM and that whole world takes up more of my time than creating new out-of-bounds plays. The coaching and the development, and still an important piece that I make sure that doesn't get lost on myself or my staff.
All right, last one for me, Gardo. The end of games. It seems like something always comes up with you and how things go. The other night, there was a little bit of controversy until things got settled that, Underwood and the Illinois team was sick. Was that the first time that's happened where they're, and you probably are thanking him for telling you, no, let's not shake hands, because there's a bad bug going through that room. But was that the first time something like that has happened to you?
Yeah, other than the Michigan
yeah, well,
fiasco
that was
a few years ago. Completely different. No, and
I don't remember that. So I don't know why I don't remember any about that.
The other night,
it's always around Valentine's
I didn't
too.
know. I didn't know they were sick until I go to the handshake. I was like, Brad, man, you guys got to get healthy, because a couple guys banged up and they had been sick, and he goes, man, I got half my team in the locker room throwing up right now. And I go, are you okay then if we don't shake hands? And he goes, if I were you, I wouldn't. I said, okay, if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. Let's not shake hands. He's like, we're good. And so, no, that's the video of it probably made it seem like we were ready to throw down. But, no, it was just us both exchanging, like him saying, if I were you, I wouldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, not like we just didn't bump and grind for 40 minutes, I know, and share basketball. But I was appreciative of him, at least offering that up, like, hey, we're struggling here, and you guys don't need to get this because you guys are cooking right now. So, no, that was completely taken out of context. I think he addressed it in his press conference, and I did on my radio show, and we talked yesterday anyway, and a little bit about that. Just we were laughing about how everybody made a big deal about it. I'm like, man, Brad, we've consumed a few beers and some bourbon together, so that's a little bit of flu isn't gonna, ruin our friendship.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would have assumed that was confrontational. It's not like you have a track record of that sort of thing. All right, Gardo, we really, really, really appreciate this. Yeah,
just
are you
like
gonna,
the old cup up in Canada, throwing down, putting the gloves down. Let's see what we got.
Are you going to watch the Four Nations?
That'll be round 2 tonight, right?
Yeah.
Even Gardo tuned in. Greg, seriously, we not only do we really appreciate it when you make time for us, but more importantly, we're having an absolute blast watching your team. We're so happy for you and your guys. The Ashwaubenon girls 8th graders, Coach Hogue has adopted a lot of the ball screen continuity offense for them. And if you're looking for a team bonding thing, we did tie blankets last night. We've got some leftover material if the guys want to do those, because that's a really good team bonding event.
I think Greg had mentioned he has a little spare time. Can you send him that video of how you guys are running that offense, and he wanted to critique that? I think he had mentioned that earlier. Okay. You haven't sent him a video.
Put it on his file of all his videos he has on his desk.
I'll get you some.
They're there.
Some other.
They are there.
Greg, in all seriousness, thanks so much, and good luck the rest of the way. We can't wait for you to fulfill Tausch's prophecy of a Final Four run.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
That is Greg Gard, the head men's basketball coach at.
Hey, you know what? You know what I just heard there? He ain't saying, because he's not an idiot, but he ain't not
some
saying.
Some other people. That's what you interpret what you want. I am interpreting it the same as you did. He definitely is not dumb enough to say that publicly, but he did not poo-poo or tamp down your take there. And we hope that you are right, because that would be really fun to see. And this team is playing really good basketball, and we're excited to see where it takes them. We'll take you to a little bit more of the conversation next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The Green and Gold Championship window is on the clock.
To me, their window is now wide open. From here on out, they have the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl.
The countdown to the NFL Draft in Green Bay is on.
Goody has to start figuring out his first-round draft picks. Goody's inability to nail the first-round draft pick is what is keeping this team from being a true Super Bowl contender.
Green and Gold off-season talk right here. 94.5 ESPN and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. dented bumper, scratch paint, Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco, Fisco, Fisco.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
The second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app is really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport, pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's best fight for playoff positioning. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40-plus states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code WI. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for just playing. Guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
At the Knickerbocker Hotel, we believe your stay should be as convenient and luxurious as possible. Whether you're planning a small meeting or a special event, our versatile space is perfect for any occasion. Start your day with a delicious meal at the Knick Restaurant and Bar, or unwind at the Knick Salon and Spa. Wanting to stay active? The 24-hour fitness center is always available. If you need something custom made or alterations made, there's a tailor on site. The Knickerbocker, where every detail is designed with your comfort in mind. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockerontheLake.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Thanks again to Greg Gard. If you missed any of our conversation with him, you can go to any of your favorite places for our podcast after the show. You can rewind on YouTube, or you can watch YouTube later, but great conversation with him. And Tausch is right.
How much of this is luck, do you think? How much of this is luck?
Their success.
Let's just look at, and I was not going to ask Greg. I knew he was going to answer it 50-50.
You did.
That's why.
And he did.
Is it a great question? If you don't get a great answer, you've always taught me no. So I wasn't going to ask it, but it's still interesting to kind of hear the thought process on how it goes. But
sure,
if last year you want to retain your talent, that's what Greg said. I think they wanted to keep Chucky. I think they wanted to keep A.J. Storr. And even with the way the season finished last year, they're obviously, this group is more connected than that group. Does that mean they're going to go further? I certainly hope so. But, it's tricky, right? The tournament. But if both of those guys are re-signed, none of this would be happening.
So I remember Gardo came on the show not long after Chucky flipped or left, or however you want to view that.
Yep.
And I remember him talking about how the kind of money that he had an opportunity to make, his advice was for him to go. And so again, I remember that because that was some brutal honesty that obviously he did not do that because he thought, you know what, we'll be better if we don't have Chucky Hepburn on our team. That was not his thought process. So to answer your question, maybe a little bit, right? Or maybe if they have him and not Storr or whatever it might be, I don't know. Okay, we'll never know. But to me, you know, what's the old saying about luck is when preparation meets opportunity? Like, all the other stuff that they have done, if they don't do those things, and you've played on enough teams to know this, you've coached enough teams to know this, like, if you don't do all that other stuff, it doesn't matter who you have on your team. Yeah, Denny Tauscher's right, talent outs, but talent outs not alone. There's got to be more to it. And, again,
And also the Kirk Penny component to this.
Right, I was just going to say that.
There is a lot of former guys. Steamsma, obviously Krabby, Reef. You have a lot of guys that know this program, and Greg knows it. You know,
sure.
They're having a big celebration Saturday for the Oregon game with Dick Bennett and the whole crew back in town, and it evolves, it changes. But to have all those guys that have bled and have done what this program asks to be a part of it, I think matters too. And that the fact that Kirk wanted to do this and what he's been able to do and kind of infusing some new thoughts and new ideas, it's just been a ton of fun to watch. And that's why I think even in a transitory world like we've seen in college basketball, I think you're seeing the fan base reconnect. Where after Chucky left last year, I think there was a lot of Badger fans thinking, what are we even doing? And when you do it right and you have that back and you win, don't want to kid anybody, you get that back, and that's what's exciting and fun. And the big thing now, get to Milwaukee. Find a way to Fiserv. All of the other stuff, winning the Big Ten, that'd be great. No, the Big Ten tournament, all that stuff is great. Get to Milwaukee. That's job one the rest of the season.
For all the fun and positive vibes that we just got done talking about with Greg Gard, we have some breaking news from the NBA involving the Milwaukee Bucks that we will share at the top of the hour, and it's not good news. It's bad news for the Bucks for the next 25 games.
It's not Giannis related, is it?
They will be without Bobby Portis, who has been suspended 25 games for violating the league's drug policy. We'll explain. There's some information that has been shared by Bobby and by John Horst, the Bucks GM. We'll have that at the top of the 10 o'clock hour. I want to remind you, though, that the Steinhafels President's Day mattress sale is the best time to save big on that new Tempur-Pedic mattress. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable base sets, plus get $300 in Steinhafels cash. And Queen Tempur-Pedic mattresses start at just $50 a month. What are you waiting for? Isn't it time you got a great night's sleep on a new Tempur-Pedic? The President's Day mattress sale, only at Steinhafels and Steinhafels.com. Bobby Portis has been suspended by the NBA. We'll talk about it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Each year, more than 23,000 kids experience cardiac arrest, and nearly 20% are infants. Every second counts in a cardiac emergency. Did you know performing CPR on a child or infant can double or even triple their chances of survival? This Heart Month, the American Heart Association and 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee urge you to learn child and infant CPR and be ready to save the lives of those you love. Know CPR so you are ready when you bring your baby home, ready as your child grows, and ready when it matters most. To learn more, visit heart.org.
The Green and Gold Championship window is on the clock.
To me, their window is now wide open. From here on out, they have the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl.
The countdown to the NFL draft in Green Bay is on.
Goody has to start figuring out his first-round draft picks. Goody's inability to nail the first-round draft pick is what is keeping this team from being a true Super Bowl contender.
Green and Gold off-season talk right here. 94.5 ESPN and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Big trucks can be intimidating. If you've been seriously injured in a truck crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Trucking law can be extremely complicated. You don't want to take on the insurance company alone. Gruber Law Offices has the experience, the resources, and of course, the results. We know truck law. We know the rules and regulations. We know what it takes to win. Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And the NBA has announced, I believe, Sham Charania with the breaking news earlier, but now the Bucks have announced and the NBA has announced that Bobby Portis has been suspended for 25 games, starting with tonight's game against the Clippers, for violating the terms of the NBA NBPA, National Basketball Players Association, anti-drug program by testing positive for tramadol, the league announced today. Now, Bobby goes on to explain that he was dealing with an elbow injury and he took an NBA-approved medication for pain and inflammation, which he thought was Toradol, and it turned out to be tramadol. Now, Tausch, at first when I saw this, because in the NFL, when guys get popped for this sort of stuff, you see them, it's usually, I took something from GNC, proud partner of Chris Canty, that was not approved. And the NFL doesn't say what the drug is, which allows them, in some cases, to maybe skirt the truth a little bit and say it's something that it really isn't. In this case, the NBA and the Bucks have announced what the substance was, and it is on the list of not allowed pain medications, and he says it was an honest mistake that he made. But that doesn't change the fact that he is out for the next 25 games. And from the trade deadline stuff to everything else, to Giannis dealing with a calf strain again, you're our Bucks analyst, our NBA guy. Just feels like this is not their year, right?
Well, the last 2 years weren't our year. Middleton's injuries, and then obviously Giannis getting hurt at the end of the seasons. And so in this case, I appreciate the fact that Bobby brings this out and is transparent. I think we all agree transparency is always good. I think it's good to see what is there, why it happened. And in most cases, I don't believe guys. I just don't. I'm very cynical about this because, there's plenty of times in the NFL, it's a thing that still irks me. It is what it is. Guys are always looking for an edge. There are times there are mistakes that happen. And when you're as transparent as Bobby and his team and the Bucks, and I think even the NBA, the bottom line is you hear this all the time. You can have all of the hotlines to call. And, is this approved? Is this approved? You're responsible for what you put in your body. And when you make mistakes, there's ramifications for those. Is it too punitive? I would argue if guys are cheating, it's not. if it's an instance, and I don't know, I'm not going to just take Bobby's side immediately. I will say I'm much more apt to believe him when you're as transparent and getting into the details the way he has. But it is what it is. And it stinks. It sucks for the Bucks. It stinks for Bobby. And I don't necessarily know how much this will change where the Bucks end up. If that puts them in the 5, 6, whatever, I don't know. But it's an unfortunate deal. But I appreciate the fact that he has been as blunt, and in this report, I'm sure he'll speak to media too. That makes me believe more. I still will always be skeptical when guys get they end up having a positive test and saying they didn't know what they were doing, because you're pretty dialed in most cases. Now, there are errors, and in this case, the fact Bobby is doing this, I'll give him maybe a little more grace than normally I would.
My quick chicken scratch math. The Bucks sit right now in the 5 spot in the East. They are 29-24. That is 53 games. The NBA plays an 82-game season. That means the Bucks have 29 games left in
Final
the regular
Four.
season.
We'll be back for the Final Four.
So, a lot of Final Four talk here on Wilde and Tausch.
The final week of the season, it looks like April 8th, they play the Timberwolves. That would be the first game that he could come back from the 25-game suspension.
And it begins tonight against the Clippers. So he does. Here's the other thing about him, Tausch. He has built up a lot of goodwill both in the organization and the community. But you're right. The bottom line is still the bottom line. Like, especially given the stakes. And it's, he says in the quote in the press release that he feels terrible and he takes 100% responsibility, but it was a mistake and it was inadvertent. And I get all that. But that, the rules are the rules. And by not making sure he was taking what he was supposed to take, it's great that he feels bad about it, but he's made it tougher on the Bucks for the next 25 games. And he knows that.
No doubt.
And everyone else knows that.
Jesse, is the window to win a championship with Giannis closed?
Closed? No. Like, he's still back end.
Slivered? Is it slivered?
It's slivered.
Creaky, squeaky, drafty.
I mean, it really slivered like when they traded Drew Holiday, if you really look back on it now. Like, that's where it really slivered.
You think so?
Yeah, like the Damian Lillard year with the coaching changes and everything that happened last year, like that was kind of fluky. This year, there's all these weird things happening. They trade Middleton. Like, Giannis is still Giannis. Dame is still Dame. They're both Dame more so than Giannis, like back end prime, but they're still both prime players who can make an impact and are still two of the best in the NBA at what they do. But yeah, for sure, the rest of the East has caught up to the Bucks. They've figured them out. Some teams have passed them up, and it's now no longer the Bucks Eastern Conference to win. They now need to go and beat Boston. They need to go and beat the Knicks. Like, that's where they are.
Yeah, they're at best right now 4th. At best. And it's probably a distant 4th, if we're being honest and not homering it. Now, if Giannis is healthy and Dalla Dame is healthy, these guys are always going to have a puncher's chance. But, man, when you're talking about 7-game series, it ain't puncher's chances. Best teams win. Best teams win. I don't think the Bucks would be dogs in all of those 3 teams. They'd be dogs in all 3, for sure.
True. What we have learned about the NBA and what we've learned watching the Bucks when they have had these seasons where they've finished number 1, number 2 in the Eastern Conference, the playoffs can be a totally different animal. So being healthy and being fresh in the playoffs is the most important thing. We saw LeBron and the Cavaliers be a 4 seed and go to the NBA Finals a few years ago. Like, you can do what you do in the regular season, and a lot of times the number 1 seed or number 2 seed can be rewarded by having home court advantage in playoff series. Sure. But the most important thing is to be fresh and to be ready to go come postseason time for the second season that it is, because it's such a grind and there's so many games to be played. And so we've had all these seasons as Bucs fans where they've been great and they've been number 1, number 2 in the Eastern Conference. And one title came from it, and they were, I think, the 3 seed that year when they won the finals. So you don't have to be number 1 or number 2 in the regular season to make a postseason run. Be healthy, be fresh, be ready to go, and be at your best in April, May, and June.
Well, we will see how that postseason unfurls, but Bobby Portis will be back from his suspension, 25 games with 4 games left in the regular season. So that takes him into the first week of April. All right, we will. We have a few more things we want to get to. Get back to, Matt LePay is probably sitting there listening to this show going, all right, basketball, yeah. I mean, I know a lot about basketball. I do the play-by-play, so I don't need that. I'm not really interested in some of the wacky things about water mains breaking and stuff. Matt LePay, voice of the Badgers, is sitting there going, hey, I need my Packers talk on Wilde and Tausch. There's not enough of it.
Josh Meyer's going to get re-signed. What are we doing? Yeah, I get it.
So we'll get to that coming up.
With you.
Meanwhile, I want to remind you, he's a great partner of ours. He's a great partner of the Bucs. I don't think he can give them any minutes off the bench or off of his courtside seats, even though he was a heck of a ball player in his day. But Gruber Law Offices is a great partner of ours, and they're great at what they do. Hopefully you never have to make the call, but if you do, the number, you know it, 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all it takes to get started in the process of them making sure that you get what you deserve if you've been injured, seriously injured in an accident. Go to the website, gruber-law.com, to find out more. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. We'll get to the supersized salary cap in the NFL and what that may mean for the Green Bay Packers. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is on air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella windows and doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25.
You're back at the gym. Your new gym outfit? On point. Your new sneakers? Baller. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Access Checking. It's maintenance fee-free with no minimum balance requirements. So when you take your first yoga class in 10 months, your body might surprise you, but your checking account won't. You've got this with Access Checking from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
The 16th ranked Golden Eagles led by as many as 31 as they dominated Seton Hall 80-56 at Fiserv Forum to sweep the season series with the Pirates. Senior guard Cam Jones led 3 MU players in double figures with a game-high 14 points to go along with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. But it was his effort on the defensive end of the court that impressed head coach Shaka Smart.
I really thought Cam Jones on the defensive end gave us a lot of effort. Him being plus 31, I think, is a testament to the way he played on both ends of the floor.
Junior big man Ben Gold hit double digits with 10 points and 6 rebounds and snapped a 6-game skid from deep with a pair of 3-pointers. Marquette improves to 20-6 overall and 11-4 in Big East play. They visit Villanova on Friday night.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Maddie's Bar and Grill, Papa Stash, Tavern on 6, Joe Cat's Pub, Camp Bar Wauwatosa, Maxwell's, Thirsty Buck, State Street Pizza, and Stenny's Lake Country. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Nestled along the shores of Lake Michigan, the Knickerbocker Hotel offers a timeless escape in the heart of Milwaukee. Immerse yourself in the rich history of this iconic landmark where charm meets modern luxury. Picture yourself enjoying breathtaking lake views, luxurious rooms, and dining at one of the finest restaurants in the city. Whether you're visiting for a weekend getaway or a special occasion, the Knickerbocker promises an unforgettable experience. Your perfect stay awaits at the Knickerbocker Hotel. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockeronthelake.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
So let's shift gears to the National Football League. You're surprised that I wasn't getting all hivey and itchy.
Yeah, it's the off season. I understand. I got a pretty good vibe on how you operate.
The NFL saw the salary cap explode. And all that money coming into the league. The teams were informed by the National Football League that the salary cap for 2025 will be somewhere between $277.5 million and $281.5 million. Most informed folks were operating under the belief that it would be somewhere between 265 and 275, but closer to 265. So this went up roughly $22 million. This is good news if you are trying to cobble together a roster and have some spending cash and also have maybe some dead cap money that you're going to have to deal with if you move on from certain players. Tausch, when you saw this information, you probably thought, boy, that salary cap wasn't that high when I was playing. And then you thought, how can this help the Packers? What do you think?
I think when you look at this, and it did make a big jump, but I don't know percentage-wise if it was bigger last year. I think I had saw somebody, and I usually go to Ingalls when I look at salary cap
Laura
stuff.
Ingalls Wilder, sure.
I don't know, but the bottom line is it did go up. But if you look at it realistically, it's went up for everybody. And there have been, it comes back to where are you at in the pecking order? And Green Bay, I believe, cap space-wise, is probably still behind Detroit and potentially, definitely Chicago. Not that that should be of top concern, but it gives Green Bay more opportunities, I believe, to go and spend at one of these positions that they're going to address via free agency. I don't know if it changes. Will we be more aggressive in looking at a trade? I still don't think you want to be giving out bonko dollars that extend out past 1 or 2 years because you just never know. The assumption would be that this thing's going to continue to grow.
Sure.
But they thought that in 2019-20, and then all of a sudden, you just don't know what's going to happen. So you want to look at it. Now, Green Bay likes going pay as you go. They don't like having to give a $45 million dead cap space to Aaron Rodgers or to D-Bach. It happens when you do this. But this, to me, is more, I believe, going to be proactive in getting the guys you want to keep as your core players. I think this gives you the opportunity to maybe take a longer look at guys that maybe in the past you wouldn't, the Khalil Macks, the Bosas, these cap casualties that don't take away your compensatory picks. That's something the Packers don't want to do. Now, they did it last year because there were young players that they could go and get. I don't know the guy that Rob mentioned, O.C. McGurry, whatever his name is. I don't know exactly if that's not going to be a high-price guy, but the Khalil Macks, the Bosas, the guys that will be cap casualties on other teams, a la Julius Peppers years ago, I look at it more from that perspective. Maybe they'll spend more because now they have another $10 million that maybe it's almost like it's found money for them that they can be addressed. But I think this is more of, all right, we're going to be proactive. We're locking Zach Tom up. We're going to look at if there's someone else that you think is going to be a core player for the next 5 years. Now's the time to make that move so you're not paying top of market when they get to be free agents.
So according to overthecap.com, and again, Ken Ingalls does a very good job. He's fascinated by this stuff. I respect the work that he does with the salary cap. He is always digging deep into that stuff, which I don't do, so I appreciate his work on that. But from a league-wide perspective, the Packers, based on what overthecap.com has, and they're using the middle point between 277.5 and 281.5 for their calculation. The Packers would be 13th in salary cap space with gross salary cap space of $49.1 million and effective salary cap space of $46.1 million. So they got plenty of cap room. Here's the thing: in the team with the most cap space of over $120 million in cap space are the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
But also
by
ahead
the way,
of them,
you should never be in that spot.
No, I agree.
That means you've drafted or retained players at an inept degree that is insane. Never should you have that much cap space. That means you have no talent.
The Bears have $69 million. The Vikings have $63 million. And the Lions have $51 million. So all the other teams, I don't know. Is the cap a fallacy? Maybe. All I know is they've all got more cap room than the Packers do. Now, the Packers can create another $6 million if and when they move on from Jair Alexander. If they designate him a post-June 1 cut, they have even more cap space that would create. So that is also not included in the equation at this point. But look, bottom line is...
Yeah, and the thing, Jason, you have to be careful of here. Everybody gets excited.
Burn a hole in your pocket.
A little money. Yeah, let's make sure you're being smart. And that's the thing. I don't even ever have to question that with Russ Ball. How many times has Russ done something completely crazy? Even the contracts that he's gotten, the Xavier McKinneys and the Jacobs, they have outs after a couple years. They're not doing crazy amounts of guaranteed money that is going to end up really getting you. It's when they re-sign their own guys and injuries occur, stuff happens, but don't go chasing 30-plus-year-old pass rushers. If you can do it for a year or two, great. But if you have to commit and see what the Buffalo Bills did with Von Miller, I think really hurt them. They ended up having to reboot because of some of that big money that they spent. And just because you pay big money with old guys doesn't mean you're going to get big production. And most of the time, you don't. And that's why I'm firmly in the camp, now that I'm not an old, washed-up player, in the camp of Goody saying, keep it young, keep it hungry, don't pay a ton of 30-year-old guys that need to be able to move and be strong and stay healthy. I'd be very cautious outside of a 1 or 2 year deal. If you're expecting more than that, you're typically going to be disappointed.
Well, I'm going to give you a contrarian opinion on the cap space bump. I will explain that after you tell us about how you can get a brand new bathroom renovated and not have to break the salary cap to do it with Kohler Services.
Yeah, and if you've been putting that off, shower, bath, remodel, boy, now is the perfect time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, 0 interest, 0 financing on your Lugstone shower remodel. And they'll give you a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. You don't want to be sitting like that picture right there back in the old days with a spoon. Get together with Kohler Services. KohlerServicesWI.com. Fast, professional installation. That is always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
All right, my controversial take on the extra salary cap space. I will reveal it next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch. Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
As a bull rider, I prefer to do things single-handedly. That's why I love the UW Credit Union app. Doggy! It lets me check accounts, make transfers and more on the go. And if I need an extra hand, UW Credit Union has 13 Milwaukee area branches. Yippee! So, if you want simple mobile banking, mosey on over to UW Credit Union. They're here for every y'all. Federally insured by NCUA.
Fingers come in different sizes.
It's one of the first things you learn as a jeweler.
And a ring can only be sized up or down a little bit.
Which means it's a really good thing to know your ring size.
And it's an even better thing to know their ring size.
This is why we're announcing
the Ring Size Registry at Kessler's.
We're doing it as a public service. It's completely free.
Free. Isn't that a great price?
Here's how it works.
Just drop into any Kessler's Diamonds location and tell one of the owners that you'd like to know your ring size.
Kessler's is an employee-owned company, so whoever greets you at the door is an owner.
They'll determine your ring sizes and add them to our Ring Size Registry.
Then, when someone wants to know your ring size...
Because, maybe they want to surprise you.
All they have to do is call or stop into Kessler's.
Surprises can be fun, don't you think?
We're happy to do this for you, even if you don't buy your ring from us.
But after you take a look around, we think you probably will. Visit KesslersDiamonds.com for a location near you and register your ring sizes today.
Strong mind, strong body, and strong communities. That is what you need to know about the Princeton Club, and that is what you can achieve at the Princeton Club of New Berlin. When you walk in there, you will feel completely motivated to better yourself just like everyone else is doing. I've done personal training. They have saunas. They have workout classes. They have basketball courts. They have indoor-outdoor swimming pools. It all starts with a tour. Check it out. You're going to fall in love. Free childcare with the membership, open 24/7. Check out the Princeton Club of New Berlin. Get your tour and take that small step to a bigger journey for a better tomorrow. That's at theprincetonclub.net.
Be the MVP of gift giving with a Milwaukee Bucks gift card. From exhilarating Bucks experiences to unforgettable Fiserv Forum events, your gift card recipient can score tickets to Bucks games and other events through the Ticketmaster box office. Shop exclusive gear at the Bucks Pro Shop or get a favorite snack at Fiserv Forum's concessions. It's a win-win gift that lets them choose their experience. To purchase a gift card, visit bucks.com/gift cards.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Comes to offering medical coverage to your employees. Saganiac Planning can coach you on ways to balance costs and prioritize care for your employees with coverage provided by United Healthcare. Call Steve Fluellen, 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Insurance coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Insurance Company or its affiliate. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services, Inc. or its affiliate. Health plan coverage provided by or through United Healthcare of Wisconsin, Inc. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Basketball Greatest Scorers. The Marquette Greatest Anything must include Dwayne Wade, but he only played 2 seasons, so he can't match the numbers of those with 3 or 4 years. But Wade is the leader of the 2-year club. Career average 19.7, among the best ever. Similar to Jim Jones' 2 years, 19 a game. And 2-year club, add Andrew Rousey. Like Wade and Jones, a season averaging over 20 points per game. Dwayne Wade, Jim Jones, Andrew Rousey, among the greatest scorers with only 2 seasons of play.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
So here's my unpopular contrarian opinion with all this cap space, $49 million or whatever it ends up being.
Put it
Save
in a
it.
CD and get 4%.
Yeah. I'm the worst person to say this because I'm not good at it. I need to be better. I've been working on it. I've been trying to improve. But do I squander money on an occasional bobblehead or a pair of shoes I don't need? I do.
Yeah, but you make it back by selling old metal hangers.
Yeah, I got to get the hangers listed. I'm way behind on my listings.
If you sold all your junk in your basement.
Yeah, this is a great question.
Over under 30K.
I don't appreciate it being
if you
described
sell
as
everything
junk.
at market price, I bet you have more than $30,000 down in that basement with gym beams and all the stuff that you got.
Not gymnastics beams.
Yeah.
This sounds like something else.
And we're a Tito show. But I would say this. You have some pretty big ticket items already on your roster that you're going to want to pay. So do you just squirrel away the cap space and spend it on re-signing your own guys that are all approaching the final year of their deals or their 5th-year options or second to last year of their deals from the 2023 draft class?
Okay,
how do you go about it? Yeah.
Question for you. All right, agreed. And I think the thing we learned from last year is, did we crown all this roster as being great too soon? You paid Jordan Love. Definitely agree with the decision. We'll see how it all shakes itself out. But he is a franchise quarterback. He's got to get better. But, okay. Who are your other – Jess, you got any music? Who are your other top 5 lock stock you have to lock up from a Packer fan standpoint for the next 5 years? Who are your guys?
Ooh.
I can tell you 2 right now that will make everybody's list.
Okay.
Zach Tom, Tucker Kraft. Bing bang.
Yep.
Those 2 are lock stockers.
All right. I agree wholeheartedly. Zach Tom going in the final year of his contract. Tucker Kraft with 2 years left on his deal. This will be his second to last year of his contract. He would be eligible for an extension after the 2025 season. But
he will be locked up next year by April.
Yeah.
May.
Zach Tom eligible for an extension right now.
Yeah, and he'll get paid. He will have a new contract before training camp starts.
Okay.
But you speculate all you want. I don't know, and this is when you said that, I'm thinking, all right, we usually do top 5. Is there 5 lock stockers that you're going to pay really good starting money to that are not locked up already?
Right. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking because remember, too, if you don't spend the cap money now, you can roll it over, right?
Roll it over.
And so, for example, we are going into a season. Let's use the 2022 draft class as the example. Let's start at the top of that class. You have 2 first-round picks that you are going to, it would appear anyway, give the 5th-year option to. Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt. Given the way Goody was talking about them, now again, he talked that way about bringing back Devontae Adams and bringing back Aaron Jones, but this is a little different. They are both in their plans, clearly, right? Maybe you can avoid the 5th-year option, and instead you can give them the guarantee that would come with a 5th-year option and a little, what do you call them, sprinkler, and sign them to longer-term deals if you want. Spread the cost over several years, lower the number for this year, right? Option for both those guys. Then the rest of that class. Christian Watson, we've discussed ad nauseum where he's at in terms of his injury. As I have said that I don't expect him back till at least mid-November or later. Is Sean Ryan the next version of John Runyon and potentially Josh Myers? And it's another thank you for your service, but we're not going to re-sign you either. Do you just keep cycling through offensive linemen and not sign any of them? Is he worth considering? Now, the rest of that draft class at the offensive line position includes Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker. So basically, based on the way you finish the season, 60% of your offensive line is entering a contract year. How much of that do you want to bring back? And on top of those offensive linemen, Kingsley Enagbare was pretty productive for you. You have to figure out what you think about Romeo Doubs at this point, because if we're being honest, the way the season went for Romeo Doubs at the beginning with him not coming to work and at the end of having 2 concussions, I don't know what to expect there. And to your point about who are the other ones that are not lock stockers, but you put on your list of 5, I don't know. Because I don't know enough about any of those guys to make a decision this moment today, which is why I want to save my cap room. And by the way, there has to be at least one lock stocker. I would bet on Jaden Reed at this point more than Dontavion Wicks, but I think both those guys, a year from now, we could be having conversations about how are you going to pay both of them because they both had big seasons, or
awesome.
it could be the opposite of, God, neither one of them, again, not as big of a jump as we wanted. Do you pay either one? Like, it just feels, and tell me if I'm wrong, it just feels like there's so much uncertainty of who is deserving of being brought back on second contracts. Am I wrong to feel that?
And that's why your thought process, I think, is wrong in this case, because you have holes that you believe this team is championship caliber. If you're Goody, you going to let that uncertainty continue to percolate, or are you going to bring some certainty in, and hopefully that uncertainty becomes certainty, and you walk out with a chip, and then you have these conversations next offseason that, well, you can't pay everybody because everybody got too good. That's a great problem to have. That's not where we're at. I don't know if you have 5 guys right now that you want to pay. You want to pay 5 guys right now. I don't think there's 5 guys that you're going to say, we got to pay these guys. I think there's more of, I hope these guys progress, and we do have to pay them. But right now, this organization looks and sees young talent, and they want to procure it. They got Elton Jenkins signed up early and at a nice cost reduction for the team. than if they would have had to. They'll have to figure out what they want to do with him sooner than later, because I'm guessing he's going to want something guaranteed moving forward. That's how the Packers operate. That's why they've been successful. And right now, I think outside of Zach Tom, because they can't do anything with Tucker Kraft, I don't know if there's anyone else on this roster that they're saying, lock him up. We got to keep him. Maybe I'm missing somebody.
No.
But I don't think so.
It's got to be
so
wait and
your
see.
Your point always is there was always the pay your own people, because it's a great thing in the locker room. It sets that example that you do things right. Guys are congratulating guys. It's just good. Yep. You bring guys from the outside, there's going to be more angst because, what does that mean for us? If they're bringing this guy in, that means I'm gone. There's just more of that consternation.
Sure.
So this season, I believe, is much more likely to have them go and be aggressive in free agency. I don't think to the same degree of what we saw last offseason, but I would be shocked if we don't see a big boy Daryl Hannah type move in the early part of March, and then a secondary and thirdly move, and then you go draft, and that's the way you approach this offseason from the G&G standpoint.
For those of you that aren't as old as us, Daryl Hannah, the star of Splash, in which she plays a mermaid who falls in love with Tom Hanks.
That is correct.
Not long after the incredible run of J.R. Ewing in Dallas on CBS was coming to a close.
So that entire reference is make a splash in free agency? That's
indeed
how that came together. Okay. Thank you.
Did we ever figure out, was Daryl Hannah, did she have to be in the water a ton? How did that all work?
I'll be honest. That is a movie I have seen, unlike a number of others.
Because if she was in love with Tom Hanks, could she have not just went out? I know old boy splashed her with the hose, and then she turned into a mermaid, and that's when they got her. But could she have not just said, you know what, man, I love old Tommy boy. I'm going to get up out the water and just go live my life. And she wouldn't have, I don't know if she takes a shower, if she turns into a mermaid. I didn't know how all of that worked.
Well, that's because the film came out in 1984 when I believe you were 7.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I've got the plot summary here, but I don't want to be the spoiler alert guy. If you're thinking about going to Blockbuster and renting the VHS tape.
But all I'm saying is, wouldn't it have been
yet.
an easier transition for Daryl Hannah to move out of the ocean than to tell Tom Hanks, if you want to be with me, you got to be living under the water your whole life? I feel like there's a disconnect there, but maybe I'm wrong.
It is not available on Peacock, unfortunately.
And Jesse, cover your ears. So this never becomes an issue because if you have seen the film, Tom Hanks, the movie, I believe, starts, and I'm a little bit sketchy on my recollection since it was 40 years ago that the movie came out.
41, actually. That's crazy.
But I believe as a child he meets like a young mermaid underwater, and then he reconnects by happenstance. Again, the details are murky for me, but reconnects with Daryl Hannah as the fully grown mermaid and falls in love with her. But I think the movie ends.
What are the odds of that?
I know, right?
No, they swim off.
Ron
They
Howard
swim
film.
off.
So I think the film ends with him swimming off into some sort of underwater kingdom like Atlantis, which has a great early season basketball tournament, from what I understand, but not as good as the Greenbrier. That Tausch didn't go to. But they swim off because as long as he's with her, he can live underwater. I think that's how it ends.
Yeah, I'm saying, wouldn't it be an easier transition from the mermaid to just be normal? Walking around, going to movies,
I
understand.
understand.
Et cetera.
We saw the blueprints there in The Little Mermaid. Like, you can do it.
It's not a documentary,
Is
though.
it weird that I've never seen The Little Mermaid, but I've watched Splash?
Yeah, actually.
And the Little Mermaid goes the opposite direction. Spoiler alert, she gets her legs. Right?
Don't
Doesn't
tell
she
me
live
that.
happily ever after with the prince? And Ed Helms sucks on The Office. All right, that was our discussion of the salary cap situation for the Green Bay Packers, in case you couldn't tell. There's some other things we want to discuss, though, as it relates to this, including a couple of ideas from our friend Matt Bowen for a game of Take It to the Bank presented by Associated Bank. Or we could play trivia. Tausch, I'm going to give you those choices. What do you want to do? You want to do trivia? Or do you want to do Take It to the Bank?
We're doing trivia tomorrow, I thought. No, we only have one day.
We only have one left, so it's either today or tomorrow. And
with you taking off tomorrow, we'll do trivia tomorrow. I actually want to talk about pull tabs because of kind of what you just talked about. And then we'll get into, at the top of the hour, Matt Bowen, things of that nature. Yeah, I'm curious. First off, I don't think I got to worry about you with pull tabs. It's going to be more of a Jesse. So maybe I could hold off and do this tomorrow since Jason's off.
Do you want to work your way through what we're going to do next then?
Well, you asked me. I don't know why you'd ask me. You know how my mind works.
No,
so
it's
Jason,
great.
You pick since you're Jesse in it tomorrow and taking off. You pick. But you're not doing trivia. Take trivia off the table. You pick what you want to talk about.
And pull tabs.
And we'll do that next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And sponsored by American Family Insurance. All day, every day. The Carbless talk and text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless talk and text line. This is more. Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. We have talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We are a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a plan to solve your situation right now. It will not go away if you bury your head in the sand. Call now, 844-222-1192, or visit rightchoicetax.us.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her driving, just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything for your next project.
For over 65 years, Menards has been the destination for post frame buildings. Whether it's for protecting equipment or you just need a place to keep your toys, Menards has a post frame building for you. Get a free estimate fast in store or on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
He's got a Chevrolet that don't always run and the radio never turns down. He's got a pedigree that's no good for nothing, no commas in his bank account. But there's a girl at the hole in the wall where he plays.
All right, so we're going to step to the line of scrimmage and call an audible. We'll get into Matt Bowen's piece at ESPN.com, both as he looks at the free agent the Packers should sign, and then some of the other projections for places for guys to go. But before that, there was some big news yesterday. The University of Wisconsin giving Luke Fickle a contract extension. Tausch, your thoughts?
Jason, what do you think?
So I look, first of all, I just wanted to do that for the joke. But in all seriousness, if you read Colton Bartholomew's piece at Madison.com, the fact of the matter is this is a formality. They do this and they did it with a number of coaches, and this is how the UW works. So I had some friends who are frustrated with the Badgers send me text, oh, they're giving Fickle an extension. Well, it's a 1-year rollover thing. This is not a game-changing type thing here. And I don't know about you. I understand there's disappointment. I'm not putting Tausch in the position that some might have tried to, Matt LePay, earlier in the week. The bottom line is that I still think that this...
No, Evan. I don't think Matt
Evan.
Yeah.
Why would I say...
Evan
why did I say that? It was Evan that did that.
I don't know.
Don't come after Dad like that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's rare that you
Jesse's
throw
dad.
LePay under the bus.
No,
so,
definitely
Jason,
not.
Here's the deal. You said that this is kind of standard operating procedure, and... in Luke's case, he signed a 7-year deal. You roll it over. I think if it's satisfactory, I'm not 100% sure. That does not, and I'm not into the weeds on all of that. I know there's big buyouts in college football with head coaches.
Yep.
And as that initial, it's like I look at it almost as if I'm not going to go down that route, but you're paying off every year that your contract goes, the buyout becomes less. Right. I don't think rolling this over, because that's what Badger fans that are unhappy, and trust me, I've heard this too, that don't think Luke is the guy. It's like, well, what are you doing? It doesn't change any of that math. This is a big year for all of us, with the University of Wisconsin, as far as winning and trying to show that this program is on the trajectory that you're hoping for. What happened yesterday is, in the grand scheme of things, it is nothing. It doesn't change any of the actual math. Outside of, because trust me, if Luke goes and wins a national championship, I got a hunch that part of this deal, everybody will say, I hold up, but that will get more than likely torn up and things will be different. That's how this whole business of coaches work. You don't have to like it, but that's the reality of what these contracts look like.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring it up for that exact purpose for those that are unhappy, that were a little bit up in arms. Standard operating procedure is exactly the right phrase, and Tausch.
Stop.
As much as I wanted to trot out that Jason rerun, I botched it, which is disappointing. All right, we'll kick off the 11 o'clock hour. We'll take a look at some of these free agents that Matt Bowen, our friend from ESPN.com, took a look at. We'll look at who he's projecting to the Packers. I don't know about this one, Jim. And we'll look at where he's projecting for some other free agents to go as well. We'll do that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour, which starts after Tausch tells us about Coors Light and his love of the Blue Mountains.
Oh, indeed. Look at that. Fort Myers, Florida, champions of the Mid-Classic, whatever that was called. Coors Light was there, and Coors Light is everywhere. It's brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it's cold packaged. So it's made to chill and make sure those mountains are blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. That's why there's always Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The Mid-Classic. It was the Fort Myers tip-off.
The Greenbrier.
Yeah, Fort Myers, middle of Florida, classic. Yep.
We will kick off the 11 o'clock hour in 2 minutes. It's the Mid-Classic, Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
At UW Credit Union, our home loans have everything you need for your next big step, including up to $750 off closing costs for all home buyers. And first-time buyers can save even more. So if you're ready to trade roomies for more room, or your townhome for an out-of-town home, UW Credit Union will be with you from start to furnished. UW Credit Union. Apply online today. Equal housing lender. Credit may be limited as required by program. Visit uwcu.org for details.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
It's time for the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust. Get your Golden Eagles essentials by opening Marquette checking from Wintrust today.
The 16th ranked Golden Eagles led by as many as 31 as they dominated Seton Hall 80-56 at Fiserv Forum to sweep the season series with the Pirates. Senior guard Cam Jones led 3 MU players in double figures with a game-high 14 points to go along with 5 assists and 4 rebounds. But it was his effort on the defensive end of the court that impressed head coach Shaka Smart.
I really thought Cam Jones on the defensive end gave us a lot of effort. Him being plus 31, I think, is a testament to the way he played on both ends of the floor.
Junior big man Ben Gold hit double digits with 10 points and 6 rebounds and snapped a 6-game skid from deep with a pair of 3-pointers. Marquette improves to 20-6 overall and 11-4 in Big East play. They visit Villanova on Friday night.
This has been the Marquette Minute on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Wintrust, Wisconsin's bank, and the official bank of Marquette University.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now. And you and Matt Bowen were both in the same draft class, and then you were teammates, right? You did cross over in Green Bay. We obviously have been a big fan of him and his work for a really long time. And he's joined our show. We'll probably have him on leading into free agency and the draft because he's such a smart dude, even though he did go to Iowa. But I don't know about this, Jim. So he's got his top 50 free agents. And we're going to play a little take it to the bank with some of his predictions of where guys... And in fairness to him, he's calling it best team fit. not necessarily predicting, this player's going to go here, this player's going to go there. Now, all that said, his 9th ranked free agent is Khalil Mack. And he is saying that the best team fit is the Green Bay Packers. The Packers adding Mack to pair with Rashawn Gary would boost their pass rush off the edges. Mack had 6 sacks and 41 pressures in 2024 with the Chargers, and even though he's turning 34 this week, he's still a 3-down force with the steady play speed to heat up the pocket. Literally, this would be Goody signing someone almost exactly in the exact same age, place, and with the exact same resume, or close to the same resume, as Ted signing Julius Peppers. Are you in or are you out on the Gootinator and Khalil Mack Tausch?
What was... refresh my memory. How did Khalil play last year? How many games did he play? What was his production?
All right, so Khalil Mack, first of all, 6 sacks, 41 pressures for the Chargers. Now, again, I didn't watch him play a ton, but that represents a major drop in his production from the previous year, which I'm always a little leery about guys that see their production drop. He had 17 sacks in 2023 and then 6 last year, and he is turning 34 years old this week. Also, his pressure numbers, now, again, I don't know what the 41 is that Matt Bowen is using for pressures. I'm looking at Pro Football Reference. They have him with 9 hurries, 10 knockdowns, and 36 pressures in 2023, and 7 hurries, 8 knockdowns, and 22 pressures in 2024. All of those numbers also lower, just like the sack number was. Those numbers aren't trending in the direction you want, nor is his age as he turns 34. I have a hard time picturing, and we love Matt Bowen, and this is not a critique of him. I just have a hard time picturing Goody doing this. What would give you the impression that he might?
No, this is a critique of Matt Bowen. What are you
He said it's the best fit.
You read his piece and you disagree with it. That's a critique, right?
I don't think Goody would do this. That doesn't mean it wouldn't be the right thing to do. I just don't think Goody would do it.
Do you think it's the right thing to do?
I think you need to get somebody who can get after the quarterback. And
Is
Khalil Mack has
the guy?
done a lot of things in his career, and he's proven that he can get after the quarterback.
Here's what I would say.
But he's 34
years old. He is
years
not
old.
Julius Peppers. Julius Peppers was a different animal. I don't know where Khalil Mack is at health-wise. Would he be someone that, if you're going to make this move, you need to go big.
Or go home.
I don't think Khalil Mack at 34 is that. I don't think Nick or Joey Bosa is that. Now, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, Hendrickson, I like all that. I'm not interested in 34, 35-year-olds unless they're Julius Pepper types. I don't think that's the case here. So I understand everybody wants to fantasy footballization things up, and I know that guy. I'm just telling you, in almost every case, Von Miller would be a top example. It's great to have great names. It's great to have guys that will come in and be able to, help you. But at what price? And I just don't envision that price point being great in order to match up what Green Bay is doing. And I think if we're going to do this, I want to go big. I want one of the big 3. And if you don't do that, then I think you go with Rob's guy and you go a tier lower and younger. everything about this is kind of stopgap-ish and Band-Aid-ish. And that's fine, but that's not typically the Gutenator's play. Gutenator's going to look for more 25 to 27-year-old that maybe has been undervalued, that can come in and give that big spark. I don't think Khalil Mack is that guy.
So my point in this is that I don't believe Goody would do this. But we do have to at least allow for the possibility that whoever signs Khalil Mack and treats him like Mike McCarthy treated Julius Peppers, right, of having him be a pass rush specialist and not, manage his snaps. Julius Peppers, who you blocked during your career, whose game you were familiar with, who you would argue is a athletic genetic freak, right? Mm-hmm. That there aren't many people like him, who is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, by the way.
That's true.
And I don't know, I wouldn't say Khalil Mack has accomplished that at this point. But the bottom line is that somebody may get Khalil Mack, and he may be a double-digit sack guy again. So my point is that I'm not saying that we can say for certain that Khalil Mack can't be productive. I'm just saying that the Packers, and given Goody's track record, I don't see Goody wanting a guy that's turning 34 this week. I don't even know if I can see Goody wanting a guy in Trey Hendrickson who's going to be 30. You look at Max Crosby, he's 27. You look at Myles Garrett, he's 29. Obviously Hendrickson, but I told you about that piece that I read on The Athletic from Paul Daner that basically Khalil Mack's the only guy after 30 who was as productive as you'd be hoping Trey Hendrickson would be. So it is a rarity, and there is risk there after that birthday.
The difference there is you're not giving up stuff other than money.
Sure.
For the Bosa's,
correct.
if Joey Bosa gets released, which it sounds like he is, or if Khalil Mack, Khalil Mack will be a free agent, so there'll be some compensatory pickage, equative, whatever you want, that gets into that equation, which I know the Packers are very conscious of, making sure they end up on the plus side of that, especially last year. They probably, with their big signings, will not be this year. They probably do want that to come back into their favor. So I think they got one big move. Is Khalil Mack going to be the big move?
And I'm not going to lie to you.
I hope for more. I hope for more.
Right.
I think with the cap going up and with the voids that we see, if we're going to go veteran and we're not going to give up draft picks, which is what I do believe is going to happen, Davante Adams is perfect for this, what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that is if that's where Davante's head's at, because I keep hearing everything out west. Wants to go to the Chargers. All right, if that's the case, go ahead. You've earned it. But, man, I just keep coming back to you don't get a chance for redemption all that often in life, and both sides can have that.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting. I'm root for redemption. I'm RFR in it. I'm going to RFR until Davante signs somewhere else.
You and I are on the same page there. By the way, as I promised Alex Strofe, when we were doing weekly Wilde, which will now become monthly Wilde during the offseason, I did text Brian Gutekunst to ask him, hey, look, off the record, I'm not going to quote you, but I don't want to keep pushing this Davante Adams narrative if that's not something you're interested in. If it's not, if you just have no interest in bringing him back, can you just tell me?
Don't respond at all.
Well, that's what I should have written, because he did not respond. So I still have no idea. And I tried to couch it.
What if you text him and said, "I'll take your silence as you're interested unless you give me an emoji back." And then if he gives you a bird flipping you off, you could say, "I don't think Davante's coming back. This is all off the record."
Right. Exactly.
That's a fair way of doing it.
Well, I didn't. In retrospect, your idea of I will assume if you don't respond, and then have whatever that assumption would have been, That would have been smart, because that might. I think he still wouldn't have responded. But anyway, I did not get a reply. If I do get a reply, I obviously won't tell you, because then I would be lying to him to say that I wouldn't use what he told me.
Yeah, but he lies to you. It's all. Everybody understands the business. Everybody gets it.
So I maybe they're interested, maybe they're not. But
I
certainly am interested.
Because
and so are you.
The combine starts next week, right?
Yeah, he's talking.
I'm sure
Tuesday.
there's going to be. Is Domofsky going down? Or
No.
Who's going down from? I think we should send Jesse down there. Jesse would go if we sent him, right?
Heck yeah, I'd go to the combine.
Jesse, you in?
Send me on down.
Did you go down?
Sure. Indy?
Right, you go down for the day with Maddie, and you have to collect digital and do all that. You get one night down there. You get to go to Elmo's, get a steak, have a meal, take a beat.
Elmo's.
But you have to get a question into Goody.
Easy.
Okay. I don't know who's the powers that be, but that should happen.
All right, so if Prize Picks puts the projection at 0.5 questions asked by Goody, or asked to Goody by Jesse Nelson, are you taking more or are you taking
I'm going to take the less. I don't think I'm not going to get into why, but the second half of basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everybody. And it's simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport. Pick more or less on their projection. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. Don't miss your chance to cash in as the league's best fight for playoff positioning. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. It's available to play in more than 40 states, including California and Texas. But the greatest state of all, Wisconsin, use that code WI. Download the Prize Picks app. And when you use code WI, you get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code WI on Prize Picks to get $50. Win or lose, you get that 50 guaranteed. Prize Picks.
Run!
Your game.
Back-to-back days he got
2 days in a row he's
Yeah.
done that to me.
Yeah, it's tricky.
We'll play a little Take It to the Bank with some of Matt Bowen's other free agent projections. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Will a familiar face be back in Green Bay?
He has tweeted out, Yo Tay, pull back up to Devontae Adams. There is a transition period to going to Green Bay, to living in Green Bay, to that being your existence. Devontae's already got it.
Keep up with all your green and gold off-season news here.
That's your home! Are you too good for your home?
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, weekdays 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube channel.
You can accomplish quite a lot in 6 years. You go from changing diapers to dropping your child off at school. You can get a bachelor's and a master's degree. And you can take up to 6 years to pay off your brand new Pella Windows and Doors at 0% interest. You get so much more than stunning windows and doors. It's the Pella experience. Talk about quality control. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3/8/25.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you, you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point
with Freddie Coleman.
Nikola Jokic is the one player that could decide the NBA championship. He's the best player in the league. And he knows that, man, when I'm rolling, everybody else is rolling with me. When they slow me down like the Minnesota Timberwolves did a couple of times in the playoffs, and to be fair, Jamal Murray was injured, Michael Porter Jr. should have been better, and Aaron Gordon was playing through injuries. Hey, no excuses, nobody cares. But if you're going to be a star and you're going to be a superstar, I've seen Nikola Jokic do this. And if he continues to do it that way, it may not matter what kind of alpha male battle may go on with the Los Angeles Lakers and Luka and LeBron. It may not matter what those young squads in Oklahoma City, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, what they're going to do. If the best player in the world plays like that again, like he's done all season, averaging a triple-double, I believe more than Luka, more than Anthony Davis when he comes back to Dallas, more if the Clippers are going to clip. To me, Nikola Jokic, more than anybody else, is the one player that could decide who wins the NBA championship this year.
Something amazing is happening at work. Innovative tools are helping people do better work. That's because CDW configuration specialists are multiplying productivity with Microsoft Windows 11 Pro Surface devices. Built-in security, flexibility, and simplified management streamline tasks so your team can get more done. Microsoft and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/surface.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
So we'll see if Khalil Mack eventually becomes a Packer. And we'll give Matt Bowen a hard time if and when he joins us, and that either does or doesn't happen. Let's take a look at some of the other best fits that Matt has for some big-name free agents in a round of Take It to the Bank presented by Associated Bank.
Did you take it to the bank?
There's also Did You Hear This on the rundown, which threw me a little bit, so...
Oh, I didn't realize I had both of those things scheduled today. Look at that.
Your fault, Jesse.
Yep,
that's not what I said.
That's on me.
Totally on me.
Did you take it to the bank?
Thing.
So, Jason, you didn't say it, but you said it by saying it, if that makes any sense.
No, it doesn't. I'm not. That's your brand. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that is you. That's what you do.
You just said it's tricky, but it was on the rundown. Go ahead, Jesse. I don't want to get into a fight with Jason.
The number
Tricky.
6 ranked free agent, according to Matt Bowen, is Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold. He lists the best fit as the Las Vegas Raiders this year. Take it to the bank. Sam Darnold to the Raiders. A better fit than anywhere else, Tausch.
No, he's going to stay in Minnesota and they'll tag him. Maybe transition tag or franchise tag, but 1 year, another year to kind of let things settle. And if the right opportunity comes, they could trade him, great. But Jason just said they got $60-some million in cap space. They can do it.
They can, theoretically. Isn't this a little bit, though, like... You don't want to do that if either you're his guy, you're our guy or you're not our guy. And if you're him,
not necessarily.
I mean, I don't know what his level of juice is to try and fight against it or not report or whatever else it might be. I mean, he's Sam Darnold. But you really think they're going to do that? Like, if you had to predict the future, do you think they do that, or do you think they go get someone else and try to give J.J. McCarthy every opportunity to be the guy?
Is that what you're thinking? You on old Aaron
That is who
Rodgers up there.
some might say that is something I'm interested in, yes. And I am
think
saying
had you not had the season, I was very tough on the Minnesota Vikings this year. By the way, they did get beat in the first round of the playoffs.
They did.
That. So did Green Bay.
Uh-huh.
I am not betting on Sam Darnold being my franchise quarterback for the next 3. I think Kevin O'Connell's a really good coach. I think they have the best receivers, 1 and 2 in the league. I think they have a good tight end with a good O-line and with Aaron Jones. I think that makes that job a lot easier. I would not pay him. I would go with a cheaper veteran, and McCarthy. But I also would want to get something for Sam Darnold. That's why I don't think, if I'm the Raiders, am I dumping a big chunk to Sam Darnold?
Right, no.
The Jets aren't going to do it. So I hope Minnesota pays him big. I think that'll be great for the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, I hope that's the case, but I think they have a very smart front office, and I think they'll probably handle this well.
Yeah. I'm not taking that to the bank either.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, he was terrific until he wasn't, by the way, in the final 2 games that they played, right? Not great against the Lions and not great in the playoff game. So,
you could say that about Patrick Mahomes, too.
You could. I understand that. Also, Patrick Mahomes' numbers and Aaron Rodgers' numbers not all that different from last year. But the bottom line is that it's still Sam Darnold, and I would be leery of giving him a big contract. Next.
The 33rd ranked free agent, according to Matt Bowen, ironically, Aaron Jones, Vikings running back. Matt Bowen lists the Denver Broncos as the best fit for Aaron Jones. Take it to the bank, the former Packers running back, best fit is with Denver next season over anybody else, Tausch.
I think the Denver Broncos should be everybody's sleeper. I don't know what their odds are. That's a team on the come now.
Got a great coach.
I would be
much better than Mike McCarthy.
Well, they got the best defensive player in football, or the best corner in football. They have a quarterback on a cheap contract with a bunch of talent and a good football coach. So take that for what it's worth. But, I think Aaron Jones, good vibes go with Aaron Jones. Where Aaron Jones go, vibes go. If I'm him, I would say if you want to go chase a chip, if Minnesota doesn't want you, Denver would be a pretty good little spot for you.
Does Minnesota not want him? I know they pushed back a roster bonus date
with his injury and what they're going to have to pay him. I would bet that they go super young and try to get one of the young guns in this draft, and then maybe grab a Nick Chubb or some like a free agent that maybe isn't going to be super expensive.
Okay. Well, Nelly.
No, that's a third game we're not playing.
That's exactly what I was going for there. Thank you, Jesse.
The 42nd ranked free agent on the market, according to ESPN's Matt Bowen in this edition of Take It to the Bank, is quarterback Russell Wilson, which he says the best fit for Russell Wilson is the New York Giants. Take it to the bank. The Giants are a better fit than anybody else for the Badgers legend, Russell Wilson.
Tausch snubber.
The Giants are a hot mess. They're going to draft a guy, and do you want Russell to be the guy that is kind of showing you the ropes? Russell Wilson's had a really good NFL career. I don't necessarily think that you want to, if you are not chasing a championship that season, I think it's fine. And that does seem like between there or the Jets, I think it's probably a good fit as one of those guys going to work. He's going to be at the facility. He's going to do all the film prep. I don't think he's a bad guy for a young player to look and see how he approaches his business.
So who would you rather have at this point? I believe Evan Cohen said it's Russell and it's not close. Would you rather have Russell Wilson in that role, or would you rather have Aaron Rodgers in that role? Is it clear-cut that it's got to be Russell Wilson in your mind?
It all depends what you're looking for. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a guy that can still play, that will mentor my young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy.
No, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers.
See,
let me ask you this. Who has Russell Wilson mentored?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers' mentoree relationship pretty strong. Pretty strong.
I agree.
So I think
why I
that's a case where, and I put it on my boogie board the other day, perception becomes reality.
Is it still there, or did you hit the button?
No, I hit the button.
He did that poll
Perception
yesterday.
of Rodgers and the reality of what he actually does when it comes to that is not the same as him being on McAfee and all the stuff that people either like or hate. Ask Jordan Love how he did as a mentor, and I think Jordan Love's going to give you a rave review. So I would maybe pause on all of that conversation from Evan's standpoint, from other people's.
No. Next.
Yep.
All right, last one here for you, unless you want to do a
we
bonus
needed to get to
round.
one more. I thought that was a really good answer. What more did you want from
Let's
me
give him,
now?
yep.
Tausch, great
Let's do him,
answer.
yep.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's exactly what I was hoping you would say. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
This is the Choose Your Own Adventure. You can weigh in on either of these because they're both interesting to me. The 24th ranked free agent, according to Matt Bowen, is former Packers corner Rasul Douglas, who he says the best team fit would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in need of some help on the secondary. Or the number 1 ranked free agent per Matt Bowen, wide receiver T. Higgins of the Cincinnati Bengals, who they claim they want to sign. He says the best fit for T. Higgins is the Washington Commanders with Jaden Daniels. Thoughts on either of those, Tausch?
I'm going to go Sewell. And it seems like that'd be a great fit back here in Green Bay.
We're all about
Text
reunions
Goody.
today. Right
Text
and wrong.
Goody and say, if you don't respond, I will think that you want Sewell back. I think Rasul Douglas was a great case of we can get something, and I don't think our team's going to be that good this year.
Yes.
And the script got flipped, and I think Rasul Douglas would have been great to have on this team the last 2 seasons.
Especially with Jair Alexander barely playing.
I don't know who Goody grabbed with that 3rd-round pick.
Well, again, I hate to be that guy, but they also gave up a 5th-round pick. So basically all Rasul did was move them up from a 5th-round pick to a 3rd-round pick in that trade.
That's still pretty substantial.
But they ended up with the same. My point is that they didn't just get a 3rd-round pick for him. They moved up about 60 spots in the draft.
All right, well, I'm not going to get bogged down in all that.
That's
But
an
I will
important
say,
distinction, I think.
It kind of is, but you got a 3rd-round pick. And who that player is, I'd be intrigued by, because that's how we do this.
Well, the 3rd-round pick, they had 2 3rd-round picks. I have to fact check this to figure out exactly how it worked. But the 2 3rd-round picks last year, which we know his track record in the 3rd round, with the exception of Tucker Kraft and maybe Sean Ryan, the 3rd-round picks were Marshawn Lloyd and Tyron Hopper.
Oh. Okay. If it was Evan Williams, all of a sudden my mindset's a little different.
But it wasn't.
But actually, the way you go about it, Evan Williams would be the pick because you cumulatively subtracted the 5th, so it's actually a 4th or a number 111 overall. That would be Evan Williams when I do my math. And if you do Evan Williams, I was just going to kind of give a little negativity to the Gutenator. But if Evan Williams is that guy, I'm okay with that.
You're just looking for a way to not give him negativity.
Bottom line is, Rasul Douglas would have been a starting corner the last 2 seasons for the G&G, and he has played good football for Buffalo. He hadn't gotten hurt. It was a misstep by the Gutenator.
Nice. I will take the other one then, since Tausch took Rasul Douglas and was right, and a very good answer by him. Yep. I'm going to take the T. Higgins projection because the Washington Commanders, according to overthecap.com, went to the NFC Championship game. They have a young, rising star quarterback. They've got a good defense. They've got scary Terry McLaurin already. They could add T. Higgins because they have $82 million in salary cap room coming off an appearance in the NFC title game. What?
That's why I'm not as when you were talking about the salary cap, that's why when everybody's thinking Green Bay is some huge thing, everybody else gets that too.
Correct.
Just a
No doubt about
little
it.
reminder, and Washington is really positioned well because they have another 3 years where they're not paying bonko dollars for old boy. We're going to be starting to see more of that cap go to the big fella. More of that
Jordan
spend
Love.
going to the big fella.
Well, you have to be smart about your money.
Yep. I agree.
Outstanding point about quarterback costs.
So good.
From Mark Tauscher. Gosh, you're so good.
Bonko dollars to old boy.
The big fella. And I've never heard Jordan Love called the big fella before, but that's what occurred there. You got to be smart about your money, whether you're the Green Bay Packers or you're a customer of Associated Bank. And that's why you need to be at Associated Bank, the official bank of the Packers. But it's more than just that. It's more than just Packers checking. It's more than that 10% discount at the Packers Pro Shop, both in-store and online. No, it's so much more than that. It's Credit Monitor. It's early pay on your direct deposits. It's the $50 overdraft grace zone. It's free overdraft protection on transfers. It's debit card controls. It's Money Monitor that helps you set your budgets and track your spending. And it's 30,000 plus surcharge-free ATMs. All the great benefits of Associated Bank. Make sure you make the switch. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. Whoa, Nelly is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra with Joshy this Thursday at Bullwinkle's at the Galleria in Brookfield. Josh will be at Bullwinkle's watching the Bucks take on Los Angeles starting at 7. Stop by for a chance to win Michelob Ultra prizes. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at the Sandlots of Salem in Salem Lakes, Kelly's Bleachers Big Bend, and Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill in Pewaukee. We'll see you Thursday at Bullwinkle's at the Galleria in Brookfield for the Bucks game at 7. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy responsibly.
Progressive presents a testimonial of sorts.
Hey, slow down!
Oh, yeah? Well, you drive like my grandma. She's a very attentive and courteous driver who wears a seatbelt and always uses her turn signals. She's also a talented painter and has very low cholesterol. Not that that has anything to do with her driving, just thought a more complete picture of who she is might be interesting. Anyway, have a nice day.
Safe driver? Get Snapshot from Progressive and get a personalized rate based on how you drive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Order for Jennifer C. Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve? Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine? Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Oh, really? That's great. Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year? Yeah, you just said that. Did you say I just said that? Yeah, I'm cutting you off. I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match.
See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
That weird Wisconsin weather is here. Snow one day, sun the next. But you can always count on Tsunami Express to keep your car clean. With 6 locations across southeastern Milwaukee, Tsunami Express helps fight that salt, grime, and mud with powerful vacuums and state-of-the-art wash technology. Technology like their best-in-class T2 with graphene for a long-lasting shine and protection. Stop at any Tsunami Express location and get your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Terms and conditions apply. First wash free for new members only.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Love me to my bones. All this time I wasted. You were right there.
Time now for Wonelli.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Got a text from my brother-in-law, Chris, this morning about 7 a.m. It was just a link to the speech from Herb Brooks in the movie Miracle, where he gets the U.S. hockey team ready to go out and play the Soviets.
This is your time.
And then ESPN tweeted the 2-minute clip of it about an hour ago, and I was like, hey, maybe I should just play it for everybody, but it's kind of got a lot of downtime. I don't know if it's going to be the best use of our time, but it's a great speech. I don't know where
it can't be any worse than Wonelli is.
I don't know where it ranks in the pantheon of great sports movie speeches.
Pretty good.
But there's a big hockey game tonight. As you are well aware, U.S., Canada, 7 o'clock, ESPN, the championship match of the inaugural Four Nations face-off. Mm-hmm. It's in Boston.
And
I think a lot of sports fans are fired up about this tonight. I know I've asked you both if you'll be watching already.
I am.
Is this...
Coach Granado told me I should.
In the scope of all-star festivities, this is the most highly anticipated all-star event since what?
Quick question before you answer. Yep.
Is it 7 Eastern or 7 Central?
7 Central. This gets going pregame.
And that's puck drop, or is that all the...
I don't know.
Probably like 7:08.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'll ask Emily Kaplan, the NHL reporter for ESPN, if she can tell us.
Can you text me back and let me know
what
time that starts
I'll keep
at?
you informed on whether 7 o'clock is puck drop.
Would there
I'm nervous I'm not going to get home in time to watch that from the jump. I don't want to miss a second. Because as we saw, 9 seconds, 3 fist fights. I don't want to miss that.
You gotta be ready to go immediately, yeah.
So that's why I want to make sure I hope it starts at 7:30. 7's going to be a snug little fit.
It's not going to be 7:30.
I'm going to make sure
You might get lucky with like 7:10, 7:15. They might delay it with the anthems and everything. But you got a good chance at that.
Oh. Some booing. You're going to see some booing tonight?
Oh, for sure the Canadian anthem's getting booed, and that's it. Yeah,
boo,
that's going to happen.
All right. So what was your question?
The most anticipated all-star event since...
this is it.
Ever?
Magic Johnson's HIV game and this. Here's your 2.
All right, so a couple
Don't
things.
have anything else?
Wow.
If I may.
What else? Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, for Tausch,
The puck drop is 7:20 p.m.
Let's go.
You almost got it.
20-minute warm-up deal. I love it. Let's
Available
go.
on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus in the U.S. and Sportsnet in Canada. Secondly, how much did the interest get increased by the fact that there were 3 fist fights in the first 9 seconds? Do you think that helped the promotion of this matchup?
Yes.
Undoubtedly.
Okay, just those 2 things. So what I'm saying is, if LeBron and Giannis threw down before it's 9 seconds into the All-Star game, then maybe there'd be a little more interest in that too.
Has LeBron James ever gotten in a fight?
I don't know. I don't know the course of his fighting. He's not Kermit Washington. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly! He miraculously was healed to play a full game last night after he couldn't play in the All-Star game.
Missed the shot at the buzzer. The Hornets beat the Lakers in their building. I saw he's 0 for 21.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't ever want to see LeBron win another championship. I'm out.
You're out on LeBron.
I haven't fact-checked this, but I believe I saw a tweet that said LeBron is 0 for 21 since the COVID bubble in game-tying or go-ahead shots in the fourth quarter, like at the end of the game.
Oh, and by the way, I don't count that COVID bubble championship. I'm not counting.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
But we
didn't
count the virtual
Badgers
championship the Badgers got.
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't count the Badgers football season that year. Also, LeBron only has 3 rings then, is what I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, Nelly! Hey, so and I don't know if we'll get into this. Can you be the
Apparently
GOAT?
we are.
Can you be the GOAT if you have to fight and scrap to even say you're the most impactful player of your generation? How are you going to be the GOAT of basketball on its whole if most people would argue that Steph has been more impactful in the same time frame of your career? Like, I think that's a really... So for all the Jordan guys, and I'm a Jordan guy, I've been very upfront about that, the GOAT conversation, has anybody ever said, well, I don't know, you have to put Akeem Olajuwon in that category? It is undoubtedly Jordan ruled. Everybody else drooled. This time frame, LeBron's been great. I'm taking this part. There would be a lot of people that would say Steph has been better. Not athletically, but from an achievement and from an impact standpoint. How are you going to be the GOAT when there's an argument? You're not even the GOAT of your own generation. Just a thought.
Yep.
Whoa, Nelly!
Jason!
Yeah. Jason's on vacation already.
First of all, I'm not going on vacation. Secondly, I think I had not thought of, as is often the case with you, I was just praising you this morning on Dude Thursday on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy without Jen. You're, once again, something I hadn't thought about, and at first I'm like, what? And then I think, no, wait, he's got, again, Alonzo Mourning gif. I think you're right. I think there's an argument to be made that the impact that Steph Curry has had is even greater than that of LeBron. And
is there one? LeBron is going to go down as one of the GOATs, but this GOAT conversation, it can't happen when you can't even. You probably from 2013 until now. Make a really good argument. It's been Steph, and it was Kobe before that.
Well, right.
So he's never been.
Just what I was
he's never
say.
been the GOAT of his own generation.
Nah, he has.
Fascinating deal.
He has.
When?
I guess this is
what era did he own?
Okay.
Jesse, what era did he own? 2003 to 2012?
I mean,
I don't think so.
I think you could make a solid argument from the first finals he went to with the Cavs, which was late first decade of the 2000s. So like 2008, let's say, like 8 to 18, LeBron was the most dominant player in the NBA. And you could probably extend that by a year or two on either end. I think the COVID bubble championship is the last.
But that's not how career arcs go, and you know that. It's the whole thing. You don't get to pick and
even
choose.
though Steph like, Steph has changed how the NBA is played and approached, and now it's even trickling down to college and the other levels, too. Like Greg Gard just told us earlier.
Too. Unfortunately, in a bad way.
It's who's faster and who can make more threes as opposed to the game that LeBron plays.
Don't just steal Draymond Green's quote. You just took Dre's quote and used it as your own.
I'm referencing Greg Gard earlier in our show.
You stole Greg's quote. Just took it as your own.
Point being,
listen, I don't want to. I'm not going to sit here. Yeah, I don't want to badmouth LeBron. All I'm saying is you kind of do. This. I think his. There's a little bit. I do. Yeah, I do respect his athleticism, longevity. There's a lot of stuff I respect about what LeBron's done. There's some stuff that I don't like either.
On another note, I'm being told in the YouTube comments that Rasul Douglas not very good during the 2024 season. Monty and a few others have chimed in with that. So I did not watch many Bills games. But
he played a bunch. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the ability's availability.
He played a bunch. All right, we'll wrap things up and tease tomorrow's pull tab conversation on Wilde and Tausch. Not during the segments that I'll be joining as a guest on my own show. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch.
Eat it right. Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Baseball season. So close you could almost smell it.
Off the top of the wall and out of here! Garrett Mitchell, a go-ahead two-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning.
The Brewers are back on the field for spring training. Catch Cactus League action right here on 94.5 ESPN Sunday, February 23rd.
American Family Insurance is a lot like Captain America. He protects the world.
It's just doing my job.
And we help protect your dreams with amazing auto and home coverage. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com. And see Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World.
Suit up. We need to move.
In theaters February 14th. This film is not yet rated.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We are local and know how to deal with the IRS and state to solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on Nick to get $194,358 of taxes and penalties removed. This is why I started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of all the taxes they can charge you or the more than 150 penalties they can impose on you. Make the right choice and call us at 844-222-1192. We want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security garnished, or a lien put on your house. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. Call us at 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting.
Are things getting a little stale? Need to bring back some excitement? Rekindle the romance and love your ride this month at Cunis. Your Milwaukee Metro Region Cunis dealerships are showing the love with new vehicle specials you'll adore at nearby locations in Oak Creek and Greenfield. From the affordable Buick Envista SUV to the rugged GMC Sierra pickup, they have vehicles for every budget. Thinking pre-owned? Visit your local dealership website for a sweetheart deal on one of our 10 pre-owned super specials and swipe right for service specials on brakes, tires, and oil changes.
I'm Brian Bohm, General Manager of Cunis of Oak Creek.
And I'm Bill Eater, General Manager of Cunis of Greenfield.
We would like to invite you to take advantage of these great monthly specials.
And remember that your vehicle will be covered by our exclusive No Fear lifetime powertrain warranty included with new and qualified pre-owned purchases.
Call or stop in today for your VIP appointment.
Love your ride this month at Cunis. Start your search online at CunisBuickGMC.com.
Guys, let's talk about something important. That's you. Hey, it's Brad Nortman. Taking care of your health and appearance isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling strong, confident, and ready to take on the world. At Quintessa Aesthetic Center, they make it easy. With experts in advanced skincare, body contouring, and anti-aging treatments, Quintessa's here to help you stay sharp and at your best. Trust me, when you look good, you feel even better. So why wait? Visit myquintessa.com and take the first step toward a more confident you.
Each year, more than 23,000 kids experience cardiac arrest, and nearly 20% are infants. Every second counts in a cardiac emergency. Did you know performing CPR on a child or infant can double or even triple their chances of survival? This Heart Month, the American Heart Association and 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee urge you to learn child and infant CPR and be ready to save the lives of those you love. Know CPR so you are ready when you bring your baby home, ready as your child grows, and ready when it matters most. To learn more, visit heart.org.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Let's make tonight the weekend. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. Got no reason not to celebrate. Baby, I just don't want to wait. Tonight's the weekend. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait.
So I will not be here for the entirety of tomorrow's show. I'll still be on all my other appearances. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, Jim, Matt, and Molly, the Damn Sports Show. I'll be on this program, scheduled to appear at 9:30. You're welcome for my service. Again,
my hero.
Heroic type stuff coming from J-Dub.
This is, well, I was going to say something else, which, of course, you guys stomped on it. Now I'm going to make you guys look like jerks. But I got a nice note from someone, Wayne, who is a huge fan of the show, and I emailed him back about the whole thank you for your service, because he's a veteran. And again, what they're doing to me right now, that's what the spirit of this is. Me appearing on radio programs is not heroic like the work that you have done on behalf of our country. That said, speaking of those types of folks, we're going to go see the girl's great-grandpa, who's been dealing with some illnesses lately, a veteran himself from the Air Force in the 1940s, and spend some time with him. So I appreciate you guys making space for me to go do that, because he's a pretty wonderful guy and a fan of the show. I got to teach him how to watch it on YouTube now, though. That is it for us today.
And we're going to talk about bowling and pull tabs.
So
looks that way.
So
what a
we'll
tease.
Let me know what portion of the show I should have him tune in for. Maybe he's interested in pull tabs. That's it for us today. Thanks to Greg Gard for joining us. If you missed that interview, you're going to want to get caught up on Wisconsin On Demand, or wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today? Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
It's the biggest savings event of the year. Menards' 11% rebate sale is here. Save big money on everything you need for any project. We've got something for everyone. Homeowners, contractors, DIYers, the kids, and even grandma. Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See menards.com for details.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
The campus of the worldwide headquarters of ESPN. And from Studio Q in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Joe and Q on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
As the years went by and I learned to know myself more and more, I realized that I have a gift.
By Durant.
I was born to do things differently.
I said it from the beginning that he's special.
He's going to change the game.
We have never seen something like that before.
If my ability is to be the greatest, then there's no option but to be the greatest.
He is a very, very special player. Matter of fact, a lot when we talk about the potential face of the NBA, we'll point right at him, talking about Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs. It's Joe and Q on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80. We're also on your smart speaker. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Alongside Jonathan Zaslow, I'm Q Myers, and Zaz is in for Joe Fortenbaugh. And a lot of times we get breaking news, Zaz, and it's good, it's fun, it's exciting. This is not. The Spurs are shutting down Victor Wembanyama over a blood clot in his shoulder. This is a report that came up from Shams. San Antonio Spurs star Victor Wembanyama is expected to miss the remainder of the season with a deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. The team announced that on Thursday. The Spurs said in a statement that the condition was discovered after Wemby returned to San Antonio after the All-Star game. A thrombosis is a form of a blood clot. The Spurs believe it is an isolated issue for Wemby. Wemby, the reigning Rookie of the Year and first-time All-Star this season, was averaging 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, 3.7 assists, and a league-leading 3.8 blocks in 46 games for the 23-29 San Antonio Spurs. Awful to hear that Wemby is going to miss the remainder of the season. And for you who cover the Heat, lifelong Heat fan, you said that this really kind of hits home for you. You immediately thought of Chris Bosh.
Yep, it's lousy news. Lousy news, not because it's isolated to him missing the remainder of this season, a season that wasn't really going to go anywhere for San Antonio. But now you're on, high alert for essentially the rest of Victor Wembanyama's career. Coincidentally, when Chris Bosh was first diagnosed with a blood clot, it was coming back from the All-Star break as well. Really weird timing when that happened. I think it was 2015 maybe, 2015 or 2016. And he missed the rest of that season, came back next season, happened again. And at that point, career's over. He wanted to return. He fought really hard. It was a little bit ugly between him and the team, with him wanting to play, and the team wouldn't allow it because, hey, this is a very, very serious issue, and we are not going to let you play. Ultimately, the team was right the way they went about things, and his career ended after that. And so this is a very serious thing. I know the team is saying that they believe it's an isolated thing, but, the doctors practice medicine. They don't perfect medicine. They practice it.
That's a great point.
You don't know. And this is potentially a serious thing for Victor Wembanyama. Yeah.
There's no doubt, man. And anytime you start talking about blood clots, it's serious, right? And again, like you said, you immediately flash back to Chris Bosh. His career was cut short by a blood clotting condition. The NBA ruled to be career ending. He played his final NBA game on February 9th. 2016. And so again, just the timelines are so close and eerily similar. Just hate that for Victor, obviously a young star. Again, we just had conversations about who is the face of the NBA. Is there a guy who's in line to be the face of the NBA? And many callers who hit us up on Joe and Q on ESPN Radio on the ESPN app said, Wemby. He's that guy. He's like you said, superhero-like. And it's just it's devastating to hear from his point of view. It's devastating to hear from just the NBA fans' point of view. I know the San Antonio Spurs as an organization are probably just, like I said, trying to be as positive as possible about it, which is the way to go. And, it might be an isolated situation, but like you said, they practice medicine. The doctor is not perfected. So we obviously hope the best for Wemby, but man, that's just awful news to hear.
Yeah, it's lousy. And it's something now that, you hope doesn't wind up hanging over the rest of his career. But again, I don't know that there's any way to know what causes or can it come back, that kind of deal. So just lousy news. No way to spin it.
Yeah, no, there isn't. There really isn't. And, man, he just really seemed like he was coming into his own, and just the way that you saw him playing and even like the effort that he was giving out there in the All-Star, right? When there wasn't a lot of the effort, we criticized a lot of the effort. He was the one guy that was laying it all out there. So we hope the best for Victor Wembanyama and the blood clot that is expected to sideline him the rest of the season. There is more NBA news as well, and this is a team that needs all their players, all their top dogs, right, on their squad to be there and available. Well, the Bucks will not have Bobby Portis. He's been banned 25 games for violating an anti-drug policy. Agent Mark Bartelstein to ESPN, Bobby unintentionally took a pain medication called Tramadol, thinking he was taking a pain medication called Toradol. Toradol is an approved pain medication that he has used previously that the teams and players use for pain and inflammation at times. Tramadol, however, is not approved pain medication, was recently added to the banned substance list this past summer. So now OG Bobby Johnson, I like to call him, Bobby Portis, is going to miss 25 games for the Bucks.
I don't know. We've never gotten the statement that's released. He knowingly took it and thought he was going to get away with it.
Right.
They never knowingly know that they're taking a banned substance, but at the same time, the way I understand it, you got a team of trainers, man.
Right.
And they're pretty thorough with you about what you can take and what you can't take. And also, it's, hey, if we don't give it to you, show us. Take a picture of it. Text it to us. Let us know if you're about to put something in your body. So you're going to have to call me skeptical of the Bobby Portis in this spot.
Well, I mean, we've heard this story so many times about, I didn't know. Look, it sucks that you have to know, but you have to know. Right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. You have to know that if you do something, if you take something, you're potentially putting something into your body that is banned and you're going to miss time. Yeah. Like, you have to understand what goes into it. There's certain things that we do on the daily, right, as professionals at our job, that we know if we do this, this could jeopardize my job tomorrow, right? Or maybe my job, period. So I have to be smarter than that. Right? Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, if I go out and do some foolishness in the streets of Las Vegas, it's not just Q Myers who did some foolishness. It's, ESPN radio host Q Myers did some foolishness. That makes it that much worse. And guess what? That job might not be there.
Please
when
don't
I come
do
back.
that.
No, I'm not. Oh, no. Hey, man, I was born that night.
You got
brother.
a good thing going here on the new show.
I was born that night, not last night. Mama Q raised me better than that.
So the Bucks have played 53 games, so this is going to take him to game number 78. So he will be able to return
just about the end of the season.
4 games remaining in the season, and then potentially, most likely, playoffs.
Right. And I mean, look, they're already the 5 seed, right? And they need as much, especially, like I said, I call him OG Bobby Johnson. I look at him as the toughness, right? He's the real toughness on that team as far as he's like the enforcer. You know, every team has to have that enforcer guy, the Draymond Green that's not always screaming at the official. He brings that to me. He's that guy for the Bucks. They're going to need that dude down the stretch, and he's not going to be there except for, like you said, the last 4 games of the season. That's a tough loss for Milwaukee as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, he plays with a bit of an edge. He's a tough guy. And
that's the understatement right there.
Plays with a bit of an edge, so much so that whenever he pops up on the screen, my wife says, that's the guy with the crazy eyes.
Crazy eyes, yep.
That is
Boom.
the guy with the crazy eyes, all right?
Yep.
And he's one of the guys still, they traded away Chris Middleton, but he's one of those guys on the team who has that championship pedigree. Mm-hmm. So he'll be able to return, like I said, with a few games left in the season and be able to go for the playoffs. But, right now they're sitting at the 5th seed. They're a game back of 4. You're only 2 games up in the loss column of number 6 Detroit. So you're in a spot where you're fighting for home court advantage if you're Milwaukee, or if you were to drop down, you're trying to avoid one of the top 3 teams in the league who appear to be a cut above everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, is there a scenario in your mind where they fall into a play-in game because of this?
No.
You think they stay above that?
Yeah, I really don't think it's something that you wind up losing games in the regular season over. I think it's more so if Bobby Portis were unavailable in the postseason, that would be something that would really bother me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they need that guy, man. And we all know how they started the season. Obviously, they've been able to rebound, and that's fine. But I just think that they, especially starting the second half, and it's not really a second half, it's just that stretch. You want to go in there with all the guys available as possible, and now not having that key cog, having that piece, and especially especially after trading, Middleton, then there's that as well. So I just think that's a tough blow for Milwaukee and what they've got cooking. And for a team that really doesn't need more tough blows, right? I think one of the only other teams that has more tough blows than they do is the 76ers, and that's a whole litany of list of what they've got going on. They are really they're one struggle bus after the other. If anything, there's something coming down about the 76ers sooner rather than later. Somebody's doing, I don't know, who knows what. Paul George is hanging out on the beach somewhere, and they can't get him back in time to play the game. Or
it's interesting you go to Paul George hanging out on the beach. I saw his girlfriend posted a picture of he and her at the beach over the All-Star break.
And their fans were angry.
None too pleased, Q.
Right. They were not happy at all. So
if your team's, everybody knows, if your team is not doing well, you are not allowed to have a good time during All-Star break.
No, you got to lay low, especially if you haven't helped, if you haven't done everything you can to at least try to give them a chance. When he's out there putting in 2 points or 4 points, whatever the case may be, when they need you to be the guy and you're not doing that, but then you're chilling out on the beach having a good old time, fans don't want to see that. I know it's their right to do it. Have a good time. Great, go do it. But fans do not want to see that at all. You know what fans do want to see, though, is that Four Nations Face-Off Championship tonight. We're looking forward to that. Matter of fact, coming up, we're looking forward at 1:30 Eastern Time. We're going to have the NHL Commissioner, Gary Bettman. We're going to grill him. We're going to grill him, Zaz, about the Four Nations Face-Off and the preview to this evening's championship game on ESPN, ESPN Plus. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're not able to listen to all 3 hours of Joe and Q today, you can catch up on the show on the Joe and Q podcast, available daily wherever you get your podcasts. In a moment, 2 more years of the most criticized man in all of New York City. Don't move. It's Joe and Q on ESPN Radio and on your smart speaker.
ESPN Radio, home of the World Series.
The Dodgers are World Series champions.
The NBA Finals.
The Celtics, the 2024 NBA champions.
And the College Football National Championship.
Ohio State has won the national championship.
This is ESPN Radio.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's HIM to 321-321.
It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Greg Matzik, Ben Brust, and Jen Latta.
If someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything, you take it.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Your first time driving a stick shift. The car, sporty. Your teacher, nervous. You've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with Online Activation Zone, so you can easily shift your direct deposits from your old clunker of a bank to Associated Bank in just a few clicks. You've got this with Activation Zone from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here for Kohler Services. Well, if you've been putting off your bath or shower remodel, now is the time to turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest financing for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hey, Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra with Joshy this Thursday at Bullwinkle's at the Galleria in Brookfield. Josh will be at Bullwinkle's watching the Bucks take on Los Angeles starting at 7. Stop by for a chance to win Michelob Ultra prizes. Also enjoy Michelob Ultra at the Sandlots of Salem in Salem Lakes, Kelly's Bleachers Big Bend, and Curly's Waterfront Sports Bar and Grill in Pewaukee. We'll see you Thursday at Bullwinkle's at the Galleria in Brookfield for the Bucks game at 7. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy responsibly.
Get ready, Oak Creek. Tsunami Express is making a splash with a brand new location at 6900 South 27th Street. Join the grand opening celebration February 12th through the 23rd. Enjoy free washes and snag an unbeatable deal. Just $5 for your first month of unlimited washes. Plus, 100% of the grand opening proceeds go to Special Spaces Wisconsin, creating dream bedrooms for kids battling cancer. Make a difference while getting your car sparkling clean at Tsunami Express in Oak Creek. See you there. Offer valid for new members only. Terms and conditions apply.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
When you're paid like an A player, you have to play like an A player, not a B player, and he has never played like an A player.
On 94.5 ESPN, streaming on the Wisconsin On Demand app and on video at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Our World Series champions.
Oh my God, this is pure elation. I'm just so proud of our guys.
To overcome what we did as a group of guys, it's special.
That was the sound, if you don't remember, of the Dodgers winning the 2024 World Series. Bushabi, ESPN Radio on the call there. It's Joe and Q on ESPN Radio on the ESPN app. It's SiriusXM Channel 80. We're also on your smart speaker. Presented by Progressive Insurance alongside Jonathan Zaslow, who's in for Joe Fortenbaugh. I'm Q Myers, and Zaz, the Yankees were on the losing side of that World Series. Yankees have won a lot of games with Aaron Boone as their manager. And I know this is not going to please a lot of Yankee fans. It just isn't. I get it. But the Yankees have agreed to a 2-year contract extension with manager Aaron Boone through the 2027 season. And
I like it.
I know you like it, but you're not a Yankee fan, right?
Right. I'm not a Yankee fan, but I'm also not a Yankee hater.
Right. I'm not either.
I'm good with the Yankees. I actually enjoy when the Yankees are in it, when they're involved, when they're in the playoffs. The New York Mets, different story. I don't like the Mets. But the Yankees, I like when they're involved. So I feel like I can look at it from an unbiased perspective. And Aaron Boone's like, okay, he's not going to make every perfect decision, but that's how baseball goes. See, that's the thing with baseball, where compared to the other sports, where you don't know exactly what the play was that was called by the coach, and in basketball, you don't know exactly what they were trying to run. But in baseball, that's part of the beauty of it, right? Where we can all sit back on our couch and we're like, I would pinch hit this guy right here. I would go to the bullpen and use this guy. I would walk this guy. I would not pitch to him. We can all do that. We can all play the role, maybe poorly,
and we do,
of manager. You know, it's part of the fun with baseball that we can do that. And for the most part, I think Aaron Boone's done a great job. He's been the manager for 7 years. He's won 100 games a couple times, has won at least 93 times. One of those times they won 99 games, so almost 300-win seasons. And, yeah, they were just in the World Series, which, was his most successful season because it's the first time that they've reached the World Series with Aaron Boone as the manager. I think it's totally fine.
No, I look, and I know, and that's the objective point of view, right? That's, again, I'm not a Yankee fan either. I'm not a Yankee hater. So I would agree with everything that you just said for everything that you just said. Boone is one of the 3 managers in franchise history to lead the Yankees to the postseason in 6 of his first 7 years, right? I mean, that right there, just that's all you really need to know. I just know Yankee fans.